morning. I'm Eric Reeser. For the second time in 3 nights, the Reds fell to the Cubs in 10 innings. Chicago's Pete Crow Armstrong hit a 2-run home run in the bottom of the 9th last night at Wrigley. And Cincinnati's Brock Burke walked Michael Busch in the 10th to give the Cubs a 7-6 win and hand the Reds their 6th straight loss. Red Legs are going to try to avoid the 4-game Wrigley sweep against the Cubs today at 2:20. As for the Guardians, Cleveland put a halt to their 3-game slide last night in Kansas City. Chase DeLauder's 2-run single powered the Guards to a 3-1 win over the Royals. Cleveland can split their 4-game set with a win in KC today at 2:10. In college hoops, the NCAA is expected to officially expand the Big Dance on Thursday. The 2027 men's and women's tournaments will go from 68 to 76 teams next March, and Ohio State men's hoops has agreed to a home-and-home with UConn starting in stores next season. This update is sponsored by BMI Federal Credit Union, voted best credit union for the past 8 years by CBUS Top Picks. Visit bmifcu.org to learn more.
Your morning just got more interesting. Distilled and barrel-picked for your listening pleasure. Bo Bishop, a local sports media legend. What William T. Sherman was to the Union Army, he is to Northern College football. A husband, a father, and middling youth sports coach. He's friends with Central Ohio sporting royalty.
I'm talking to Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjorken. Coach Day walking on with us right now. Good to see you, buddy. Good buddy, Austin Ward. My good buddy, Tim May, the Tim May Show. The great Doug Lavery's joining us.
Hi, everybody. Dom Barry here.
Oh, Reese came in and he handed me papers.
Yeah,
and then
and
then he said, "You see that button? That's the only button you need to worry about. Don't touch. There's 8,000 buttons in front of me." Oh, I didn't know what he was talking about.
The one that says on.
We blew the budget on this imaging, and only 2 guys answered our ad on Craigslist. Ryan Baker and Eric Reeser. Act accordingly. You're now listening to Bishop and Friends.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years.
All right, let's do it live on a Thursday edition of the program. Bo, the boys with you for the next 10 o'clock. We are going to pick a new commissioner of college football, and we have some guidelines that we are going to use, I suppose fitting or perhaps up here not fitting. Paul Finebaum will join us at 10:30. 11 o'clock, we'll open up the mailbag. Coming up at 11:30, Sorsby and the supplemental. Is there real smoke behind that potential move for the Texas Tech quarterback who is in hot water on the gambling side of things? We will get into that coming up at that time. Did want to start here. I was, do you guys know what is Sunday? What Sunday is? Other than being May 10th. The correct answer. That's the correct answer.
Oh, boy. Did you ask somebody close to you and they did not know that?
No.
I mean, you've been saying it all week.
I know. I've been emphasizing it, Reese. And Beamsy came in and he did his, he's like, what about the neck? What about the bracelet that I sent Mom? Accidentally. Are we able to get that? Yeah, I got it. I took care of it for you. Meantime, Bootsy did, in fact, one packet. He has this thing where he feels like he has to open anything that comes to the house first, which is not a good idea.
Even if it doesn't have his name on it?
None of it has his name on it, Reese. He's 10. None of it. Even the stuff intended for him, unless it's from an aunt or uncle or grandparent around his birthday, none of it is for him. And he wants to open it. And we get a lot of packages on the reg, as Kenny Powers would say. So apparently yesterday when I was at my other occupation, he gets home from school, just runs and gets a box, opens it. Well, it's one of her gifts. So he opens it in front of her. And I'm like, and she's like, it's okay. Don't yell at him. And I'm like, okay, but at some point he's got to stop doing this. God knows what he could open up at one point. Who knows? Well, I know it's being shipped here. And so some stuff that doesn't need to be opened by 10-year-olds. Is the reality of this thing. We have wine selections and stuff that come here. I don't need him digging through all of that stuff.
Oh, wine. That you were talking about wine.
That's right. What else would I have shipped here, Bake?
I don't know. I'm just saying. You never know.
I mean, accusatory in your tone.
No, I'm glad you clarified. That's all.
Some wine, some liquor from time to time.
Listeners' minds might wander. Who knows?
Well, we can't have that.
Yeah.
Can't have that. Well, in addition to Mother's Day, which, yes, it's Sunday. In addition to that, Sunday is the NBA draft lottery. This is a pretty big draft. A.J. DeBons's in this draft. Darren Peterson's in this draft. Caleb Wilson's in this draft. Boozer's in this draft. Acuff's in this draft. I mean, even somebody like Yaxel Lendeberg is going to be a top 15 pick in this draft and looks like a plug-and-play guy who'd be ready to go in the NBA. Are you guys aware that the Oklahoma City Thunder can win the lottery?
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Just think about now for a moment. This is people talk about the Herschel Walker deal or what ended up happening with the Deshaun Watson deal. Although we'll see what happens this year on that front. But so far, I think even ownership has said it didn't work. This is something else, though. This would be. They have a 1.5% chance. And the reason that they have that is the Oklahoma City traded Paul George to the Los Angeles Clippers for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and a ton of draft picks. And those draft picks were unprotected. And so the Oklahoma City Thunder, who are in the middle of the beginning of what is going to be a dynasty, are in position. That's 1.5% chance. Luckily for the NBA, the Clippers won enough down the stretch to make it kind of interesting because at the beginning of the year, it looked like they were going to have like a 15% chance. There's a 1.5% chance the Oklahoma City Thunder could win the draft lottery. And I would argue that of the combination of franchise, sport, biggest, maybe in history, might be that one. Because I don't know that there's anybody who is a fan of the Oklahoma City Thunder who is not from Oklahoma. They are the Seattle Supersonics. That's what they are. They've been the Oklahoma City Thunder for 20 years now. But they were the Seattle Supersonics. There isn't anybody who was a fan of that outside of people from Oklahoma at the time that happened. There isn't anybody who thought you should take a team from Seattle and move it to Oklahoma City until that happened. And so now all of a sudden, if they were to somehow win and get DeBonsa or Peterson or trade that for some massive amount of assets or player, which they could do in a second, that you're looking at a dynasty that could go for another 5-6 years. And by the way, there's one other factor here that is pretty real. You know who has the second best odds to win the draft lottery this year? The Indiana Pacers.
That's worked well for them.
So
they were in the finals last year, played this entire year without Halliburton. This is the Spurs getting Tim Duncan when David Robinson sat. It's not quite that, but it's got that feeling to it.
So I think if the Pacers fall out of the 3 spot or the 4 spot, excuse me, I think their pick goes to Los Angeles. But I like to go on Tankathon and sim the lottery, and I got like the Chicago Bulls are winning the NBA draft, followed by, and I just hit it again. Indiana wins, followed by Sacramento, then Chicago. Milwaukee gets the 4th pick, but it goes to Atlanta. Then you've got Washington and Brooklyn. Now, here's what's good about that, because I want to send the Washington Wizards to what I want to relegate them to the G League. They should they should never be picking higher than 5 ever again.
Because of the tank?
Well, they can't even get it right. They can't get anything right.
No, they've never won they have no lottery luck. Them and Utah have been the most active tankers this year, for sure.
Well,
Utah just sat Markkanen for 2 months.
The Wizards haven't been the same since they switched from the Bullets, right? They should have never done that.
I don't even know if they were good before that.
Did it matter?
They probably weren't, but
I don't think they've ever been good.
Bo, to your point about OKC having a chance to win the lottery, they also have 13 first-round draft picks through 31. Because of deals with, like, Philly, the Rockets, the Clippers deal that you mentioned. And that's just first-round picks. That's not other assets that they got or other picks in the second round.
My God.
13 first-round picks through 31.
And you know what? If they won the lottery tonight, I'd be thrilled. Because bleep these other teams that are tanking and can't do anything right in the offseason. That can't do anything right in their front office. Give me the Oklahoma City Thunder with the number 1 overall pick and the team that's probably going to go back-to-back with the MVP.
I understand.
Can you imagine
that,
the NBA just throwing themselves through a window if you give another marquee player to Oklahoma flippin' City?
I get what Reese is saying, though, because I think it was a travesty last year.
Yeah.
The way the Dallas Mavericks mishandled their roster in the Luka trade, and then they get Cooper Flagg. And I think it kind of sucks that the Toronto Maple Leafs are being run so poorly that Austin Matthews may want out of there, and then they luck into the first draft pick of this draft.
Yeah. I mean, there's some that make you pretty mad, but from a league standpoint, I don't know anything would make a league more mad than Oklahoma City landing this sucker. I mean, they have got to be the last operation or a short list of last operations that the NBA would want a 5 or 6 year dynasty in. Have to be. I mean, it's an anonymous operation.
Well, they might be getting it
It's
anyway.
run spectacularly.
That's the thing.
Yeah, they might. That's what I'm saying. They're there anyway.
Just
But
run
now
your organization well.
Man.
I do think the Chicago Bulls did a front office swapsies this offseason. They're keeping they're redoing the whole thing. I think the league would probably want Chicago to win it.
That's one of the great, and we got a lot of Chicagoans here at the station. I think one of the really surprising things in the post-Jordan, post-Derrick Rose Bulls life. Because if you would have told me, like in the 90s, that no free agent would ever go to Chicago, I would have said you're nuts. Like they were a glamour operation. But then I think the reality kind of sits in that if given the choice, none of these guys, and this is an NHL thing too, it's an NHL and it's an NBA thing, none of these guys want to go to cold markets if given the chances. They don't. They do not want to go north if they can avoid it. They don't want to spend winters in the north. I mean, we've seen it in hockey and we've seen it in the NBA over the last 15, 20 years, that when there's actually player movement, if they can get out of those climates, they do. But yeah, it is stupefying that the Bulls have been run the way that they've been run. What are their lottery odds, Reese? Do they have a decent chance, or are they
4.5? So not decent.
Not great. Yeah.
No, if you're talking about odds, so Washington and Indiana and Brooklyn are all 14%. Utah and Sacramento 11.5. Memphis a 9% chance. New Orleans has a 6.8, but their pick's owned by the Hawks. Dallas is a 6.7% chance. Then it's the Bulls. Then it's the Bucks. Then it's the Golden State Warriors with a 2% chance. That could be fun.
That'd be fun. Watch Dallas win it and pair Cooper Flagg with Darren Peterson. I mean, I think it was
Carmelo Anthony on NBC. He's like, this was all the plan by Nico Harrison. Like, what? Huh?
To win lotteries?
And they fired Nico Harrison.
That guy should not be rewarded for anything.
Well, they fired
Unless
him,
the
so
NBA
it
gave him
matter.
the touch. Give him the touch. You get Luka to L.A., and then we'll make sure that you're covered on the other end of it. I guess he still got fired anyway. There are two NBA franchises that are just run about as poorly as can be when you think about just how completely ineffectual they've been through all of these years. We'll get to that. Sports last night. Your Redlegs have hit a wall, my friend. They certainly have. We'll get to that. The NBA from last night as well. We're off and running on a Thursday. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
All the 10 TV people come over to our side of the building to take a deuce. That should tell you something about how we operate. The Fan.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place.
Wilson, energy bills have been crazy as of late, which has had our phone ringing off the hook. Pella windows give you both a home makeover and often an energy bill makeover.
We hear that all the time at the other window place. We love the makeover. No, wait. We want a do-over. That's what they say. Is do-over and makeover the same thing?
Get the windows that homeowners rated the leading window brand in Columbus at PellaColumbus.com.
Colin Man here for Weedman. I talk to you about Weedman every year. Why? Simple. Number one, I use it. Number two, it works. You want to get those lawn roots thick, baby, because when that happens, they resist weeds, disease, and insects, and they're using top-of-the-line stuff. We're talking golf course quality. Weedman is locally owned and operated by Corbin and Audrey. They will take care of you. Proudly serving Central Ohio and our Dayton friends. Call your local office, 614-733-3747, weedman.com.
Got this. Breathe. You got this. You got it.
In the moments that truly matter, what do? Rise to the occasion. Ohio Health. It's time.
Coffee, sandwich, hash browns. Tired of the same breakfast routine? Time to refresh your morning ritual with a $6 Tim's Trio from Tim Hortons. It starts with a premium blend of freshly brewed coffee, a hot, savory breakfast sandwich made with freshly cracked eggs, and for a tasty twist, a daily baked donut to sweeten the deal. Ask for the $6 Tim's Trio. Your morning ritual refreshed. Only at your neighborhood Tim Hortons. At participating U.S. restaurants, must ask for offer. Medium coffee only. Terms apply.
Some choose the fast way, others choose the easy way, but you do things the right way. That's why professionals and homeowners trust Voss Brothers Power Equipment, your source for Exmark mowers. Engineered to deliver the world's finest zero-turn mowers with a legendary quality of cut, durability that lasts for generations, and an experience that feels like anything but work. Because if it's worth doing right. Visit Voss Brothers Power Equipment with locations in Powell, Sunbury, and Marysville, and find the Exmark mower built for you. Voss Brothers Power Equipment, delivering enjoyment in mowing since 1989.
Sonic Temple Art and Music Festival returns May 14th through 17th with My Chemical Romance, Tool, Bring Me the Horizon, and Shinedown. Plus, Pierce the Veil, Good Charlotte, Sublime, Godsmack, Breaking Benjamin, Marilyn Manson, and so many more. Sonic Temple in Columbus, Ohio, May 14th to 17th. Passes on sale now at sonictemplefestival.com.
We at The Fan have created a show where you can be a homer, a hater, or whatever you want to be. Sunday mornings at 8.
It's the Fan Call-In Show, presented by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Feeling stressed or overwhelmed? Not sure how to get the mental health help you need? We've got your back. Call the Mental Health Insurance Assistance Office at 855-438-6442. We'll help you figure out what mental health benefits may be in your health plan. No more confusion, just the support you deserve. Call the Mental Health Insurance Assistance Office at 855-438-6442.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, commercial properties. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We'll see increasing clouds throughout the day today as temperatures struggle to get into the mid to upper 50s to low 60s with gusty winds. For tonight, increasing clouds overnight with our lows in the 40s. And then for Friday, we do have a chance of showers on and off throughout the day. Otherwise, mostly cloudy and warmer with highs in the mid to upper 60s. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
During this 10-second promo, Rothman will lose money gambling on something.
People like you come here and blow the family nest egg that built this town.
Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan. With friends like these, who needs former college football players? This is Bishop and Friends.
While the NBA would, we were having a little fun with the Oklahoma City Thunder and the idea that a team that just won the championship last year and feels like it's going to win another one without breaking much of a sweat this year and isn't going anywhere because they're all young and they got the best player in the sport at the moment. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has a 1.5% chance of winning the NBA draft lottery. So then you say, okay, well, who deserves it? And Reese is an anarchist, and I don't blame him. He's choosing chaos and says as long as it's not Washington, that's fine. And who, by the way, lost their last 10 games of the season. The Utah Jazz weren't much better. They went 22-60, which did get me thinking, though. You brought up Washington. Washington, Sacramento, are they the worst run? They are on a short list of the worst run professional sports organizations in all of sports. I don't know if the Washington Wizards have been relevant in my life. The Kings have been relevant, not with this ownership. It's been a disaster with this ownership for 20 years. But I don't know that the Washington Wizards have been a team of any sort of consequence in my entire life. I'm not sure that there's another entity in professional sports that's been irrelevant for 40 years. 40. I mean, the Blue Jackets took some slings and arrows from Bill Simmons, this offseason about that. And I get that from 30,000 feet in the standpoint of, you've been here 25 years and we don't have anything beyond the second round. But that's a new history. Washington Wizards Bullets, I don't know that they've been relevant my whole life. I don't even know what the NFL equivalent of it would be. I mean, even the Arizona Cardinals have played in a Super Bowl. Would it be the Jets? I mean, they've been in an AFC championship game at least.
Yeah, I don't know if there is a fair NFL comparison. There's certainly teams that have been futile few times in the last 30
sure.
years, but nothing like what the Wizards have had, because they've at least had several swings at it.
I mean,
Gilbert Arenas was fun for a hot cup of coffee.
But I don't know that they were ever
they were never in consideration for best team.
What's the baseball one of them that's just complete? Is it maybe the Pirates? But in my life, they got to a World Series. They got to a Game 7 of a World Series with Bonds and Bonilla and all those guys.
Say maybe the Brewers, but they've had a pretty good run here recently.
Yeah, they've been in a final. They played for a World Series.
The White Sox have been bad for a while, but they did, they had their run in the early 2000s.
And they won a World Series. I mean, the Royals for a long time, but they've won 2 in my life. They won in '85. Maybe Pods, but didn't they play for one with like Caminiti and those guys?
Might have. Let's go back to the football.
Go ahead.
I mean, the Cleveland Browns have to be pretty close, right?
Yeah. They would be one that you would talk about. Now, you do have, in our lifetime, you have the Bernie Browns of the late 80s. You had...
But they never made it to a Super Bowl.
Never made it to a Super Bowl. No, did not make it to a Super Bowl.
And the futility since they've been back is...
Yeah, no, very much. Yeah, very similar to the Blue Jackets, the Browns, in the 25 years since they've been back, where you've had, you had the little blip with Bake and those guys, and they won a playoff game, and they've made the playoffs a couple of times in the last 5 or 6 years. But yeah, I think those are among them. But I don't know that anyone's close to Washington from just irrelevancy, just complete and utter. My whole life have never been a pick to win anything.
I'm just looking back through Wizards seasons.
What do you find?
Of yesteryear. They had a division championship in 2017.
Really?
That was the Southeast division in the Eastern Conference.
What was their record?
They were 49-33. They had Bradley Beal, Trey Burke on the roster.
Oh, the Bradley Beal.
Markieff Morris.
They almost won 50 games. They did win a series. They've won a couple of series, actually. They won a series that year. They won a first-round series in 14-15 and 13-14 as well.
Just thinking, like, when Jordan was there, he was an executive. He might have been a minority owner of the team at one point. But
he was a minority owner.
Those god-awful gold jerseys.
Yeah. Yeah. They won this. They won it. They won the NBA championship in 77-78, and then they lost the next year. That would have been like Wes Unseld. It's probably my guess. Elvin Hayes would have been on those teams, who the kids don't even know. They're way up there, though. They are way up there. It turns out they did have 3 or 4 seasons in the mid-2000 teens where they won, 44, 46, 49 games. So there's a little bit of that in there. But they're there. Sacramento in the last 25 years may be worse in terms of just complete futility. But this also happens in the NBA because of what you're beefing with, Reese, which is the tanking. They're constantly trying to put themselves, these teams are constantly trying to put themselves into position to draft these game-changing, franchise-changing players. Yeah, from the 06 season to the 2022 season, Sacramento never won more than 38 games. They were never 500 for 15 years. So, yeah. Anyway, it's an interesting one, and all of that will be decided on Sunday when you have the NBA draft lottery. Your Redlegs have lost the wind in their sails, Bake. 6 straight now?
6 straight, and the last 3 games here, these last 6 games have all been against Central Division opponents, and man, they struggle against the Pirates all the time, and in these last 3 against the Cubs, they've been walked off. And that's what the Reds were doing to everyone else early on, and you kind of knew just the lull of averages that was going to come back to them. They were, I believe, 12-0 to start the year in 1-run games.
Yeah.
And now they've lost 3 in a row on the last at-bat of the game against the Cubs, so a little tough. And the injuries, Bo, are starting to pile up, unfortunately.
Yeah. It's early. It's early on all fronts. Gardo's still atop the Central at 500, so that's a little bit of valedictorian to summer school, Reese.
It's so bad. The fact that they've got to be sitting there at 19-19, one game better than the Tigers, who are at 18-20. But you win the games in front of you, and they beat Kansas City last night, so I'm thrilled.
You guys ready for a pretty stupefying stat?
Ready.
How many teams in the American League, without looking, have a record of better than 500?
4.
Say there's probably 2 in the East, 1 in the Central, and 1 in the West.
There is a total of 2.
Oh, gosh. So it's the
Yankees and the Rays.
Oh, so the A's are 5. I thought the A's would be a game over 500, but they might be just 500.
A's and Gardos are both 500.
And the Athletics at 500 now, I'm hearing, are atop the AL West.
And their payroll might be the smallest in baseball?
I mean, what's crazy is the entire NL Central is above 500.
Yeah.
All of them. And there's 2 teams in the entire American League that are. On the hardwood last night, I thought maybe the Sixers would – I thought they had to have it. They didn't. I did watch some of that game. It's fun. I really hope the Cavs can get there against the Knicks. I think the atmosphere from that would be pretty good. And then you had kind of the classic, hey, we won game 1. Let's put our chips into the middle and not worry about it. Get back to Minnesota. We did what we came to do. Pretty pathetic effort out of Minnesota in a 133-95 loss to the Timberwolves tonight. The Cavs and Pistons tonight in Detroit. Big one for Cleveland. That's a 7 o'clock tip on that one. And then the late game is when the aforementioned Oklahoma City Thunder will go up 2-0 on the Lakers. On the ice last night, you had the Sabres with a 4-2 win over the Canadiens, and then you had the Ducks over the Golden Knights. So that is where that stands.
Just
tonight,
real quick
Carolina and Philly. Go ahead, Reese.
Real quick for tonight, the Thunder are 15.5-point favorites over the Lakers.
Yeah, I'd take the
Western Conference
I'd throw the
semifinal.
Yeah, I'd throw the points. Wouldn't you?
Yeah.
It's just a terrible matchup. I mean, the Lakers don't have Luka. Like, they have no chance. What are we doing?
And if you want to watch the NBA tonight, get the Amazon Prime ready.
It's on there.
Yep, both games.
Yeah, I don't know. I think all of that's pretty. At least Prime for me streams cleanly. The other does not. Peacock is always a mess. Julian Sayin was on Urban's podcast, The Triple Option. Some of the highlights from that, including if surfing is hazardous. We'll get to all of that in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Performance matters in intimate moments. Don't let ED ruin them. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and I want to assure you that if you're like the vast majority of guys, you don't have to suffer with ED anymore. In fact, you might be pleasantly surprised at how the right treatments could positively impact your love life. At Tri-State Men's Health, our advanced medical therapies go far beyond pills. We have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, and we offer specific and combinative treatments that can dramatically enhance both your performance and your stamina. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a far greater level of intimacy to both you and the one you love, perhaps performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and find out why our advanced treatment strategies offer so much more. Your first visit is just $99 and gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. Tri-State Men's Health, advanced medical science to improve men's lives.
We can come the day you call us.
We're 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
We make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
Brian, I've been meaning to ask you something.
Okay, ask away.
Sometimes when we're talking, I hear a little sparkling sound.
Is it when one of us says, all you have to do is point?
There it is. Did you hear that?
That's the sound of magic happening.
Magic? Like we can come the day you call us? Wow.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
We're hiring at Don's Garage Doors. No experience? No problem. We provide full training, a brand new van, top-of-the-line tools, a gas card, and steady jobs with weekly pay. This isn't just a job. It's a career with real growth, great pay, and job security. Our team members go from training to 6 figures, and we're ready to help you do the same. Don't wait. Apply now at donsgaragedoors.com.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
What's up? What's up, man? Sup with you?
All right, here's what's up on a Thursday. Your starting quarterback, Julian Sayin, was on the Triple Option podcast. Some good stuff here. One thing that we've noticed, and we've had Julian on the show before, you ask him a question, you are getting the answer with no elaboration. So these things go quick. I'm looking at this cut list. My hunch is there's even some questions that are being asked in these, right?
I was going to say there's a lot of follow-up, like, well, why is that? And what do you mean by it?
Yeah, and it's as he's still a young kid. As he gets older, that is something that a little bit more, face of the franchise type stuff, a little bit more is going to be there. But I think Ohio State's doing a really good job of making him more and more available. He's been on with us. He does some of these podcasts. I think all of this stuff helps in terms of just getting him. He's clearly comfortable, but he's just real quick with the answers. Go ahead, Vic.
I was going to say, Todd Monken says, are you sure about that?
All right. So this is Urban's podcast, Triple Option. It's Urban. It is Mark Ingram, and it is Rob Stone are a part of this podcast. So this is Julian saying on what he saw in his game and what he needs to improve on.
There was a ton of things this offseason that I was looking at to get better at, whether it's having cleaner feet in the pocket, having a little bit better pocket presence, and then, knowing when to extend plays and, take off and, third down and, nothing's open. We got to go pick it up with our legs and get the first down.
Fair. Here he is on the long break and what he needs to accomplish during the time off.
Yeah, you get about 2.5, 3 weeks, 3 weeks out here, and then you're back to it in summer workouts and summer workouts throwing with the guys and all of that.
All right, so what do you need to accomplish in that 2.5, 3 weeks?
Yeah,
I say this with a smile on my face. What are some things that you need to do to be a kid again, right?
You definitely have to reset. We play a kind of a year-round sport, so you definitely have to reset and kind of chill and hang out with some friends and family. And then also know, when it's time to work and when it's time to, improve on those things that you thought about all summer and all spring.
Do we have the one where Urban's telling him to get out of the surf?
You've already been in the Pacific, right, since you got home, Julian?
Oh, yeah, that's like first day. Got to get back in. It's good for the soul. So
healing.
And did you get on the surfboard too?
I didn't. The waves haven't been great so far, but they should be picking up maybe this week, next week. So just should be ready to go.
You gonna get out there and shred them or what?
Coach has no idea what you're talking about.
No. Yeah, I know what he's talking about. If I was the head coach, I'd say, get your ass out of the water, Julian. You're not allowed to do that. I'm just kidding you.
Why you hating on my boy, man? It's summer vacation.
I love that guy.
That boy just weathered the Columbus winters, and he's out here in sunny Southern Cali shredding waves. You want to hate on my dog, man?
Would we consider surfing dangerous?
Yes.
Especially in the Pacific. Those are the real waves out there.
Yeah, I would. So I've been. In fact, last spring break we stayed in Dana Point, which is southern Orange County, south of Laguna. So it's kind of that point, and then you kind of start your descent into San Diego at that, or you're headed to San Diego if you go any further south. And he grew up just south of that, just south of where we were, and it's pretty wild. Like by 7 o'clock in the morning, there are surfers everywhere along those beaches, and for the most part, you're kind of sitting on a board and you grab a wave, and it's at the most it lasts 7 or 8 seconds. Like he's not big wave surfing. This isn't Laird Hamilton in Hawaii, towed out by a jet ski. So I think we had Bootsy on one. Like I don't think it's going to be anything. There's nothing too extreme there. If it'd take a lot for you to get hurt, I would say.
Yeah, even if he was doing what you just laid out there, like let him do it. Yeah.
And he probably grew up doing it. He's used to it. He knows everything out there.
I would say it's akin to like if somebody thinks it's dangerous for like me to get on a horse. Like,
is it any more dangerous than getting in a car?
Fair.
Well, I mean,
also that.
You did say last year that your horse went.
Yeah. My dad was so pissed off, like as if it was my fault that the horse went ass over tea kettle. Like somehow it was my fault that the thing flipped. Yeah, I told you that he said that when he was here a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, no one's been on that horse since. No kidding. I bet not.
Did you text him?
Sucks.
It even happens at the Kentucky Derby, Dad.
I did.
It's not my fault.
Yeah, it's funny. So he tried to minimize it to my brother. He was like, "Oh, it wasn't that bad." That's what he told my middle brother, that it wasn't a big deal. Meantime, Beamsy will never get on a horse again after witnessing it. So we have that going for us, which is nice. More from Julian. Let's go with the one where he talks about how the team is managing the schedule this season, which will be much more difficult.
A lot of the guys are excited. It's exciting, playing those big games, going down to Austin in week 2, going out to USC, playing Oregon at home, playing up north at home. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think, a lot of the guys are excited. And, just making us prepare this summer and, keeping that chip on our shoulder this summer and making us grind because, we have a big season ahead of us.
I do like the shorthand of up north. Instead of that team up north, just up north. I'm down with that as a shorthand.
Leave it up to a kid from Cali.
Yeah.
Just shorten what they're calling things.
Yeah. Up north.
I'm all for it. I'm all for that. I'm all for the team being like, yeah, this is great. This is every week. We got to be on our toes.
They want to play in games like that. Just go back to your competitive juices. Like, didn't you want to see how you stacked up against the other best?
Remember Caleb Downs calling it boring?
Yes.
At points in his Ohio State career?
Yes. Let him live. They asked me if he felt pressure going into the Michigan game. Here was the California kids' response.
I think we had the team had a kind of a great mindset going into it. We weren't really feeling a ton of pressure. We know how much it means to the state of Ohio and to our fan base. But walking in that stadium, it was a ton of fun, and we had a bunch of juice, and obviously off the bat it had through the interception, and then after that I felt like we were just in control.
Tyvis had a great anecdote this morning on T-Bone and Tyvis where he said that he was down on the sideline for that game, and after the interception, like, he was looking at faces and he was like, oh, I know we're good. Like, they were unfazed. They're like, yeah, we got this. We got it. Nothing to see here. And then they went out and handled their business in a big, big way. They also had a little bit of a conversation. Dylan brought up something that happened on our show last week where you were talking about Tavian and Julian, and they had a little bit of a discussion around, some people, clamoring to see more of Tavian and those type of things coming out of the spring game. And we did have some folks, Bake, you were monitoring the folks in the chat, and they were like, well, I want to see Tavian St. Clair and all of this.
Yeah, they said they hope Julian doesn't stay another year.
Yeah.
I want to see Tavian swing it, and that's just crazy to me.
It is, yeah. And so number one on that, I think, first of all, I've been around here long enough to know that everybody always wants to see the backup. There's been very few quarterbacks that have come through here. Braxton was one. I suppose Justin Fields was one. But almost every other quarterback that I've covered through here, and I didn't cover Troy. I was still in Florida at that time, so I can't speak to that. My guess is there wasn't any doubt there. Wasn't a whole lot of doubt early with Pryor either. But for the most part, everybody's always curious about the backup quarterback. The one thing that, and Brother Bone did have he did say, I saw without Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith, like, what happened? Like, was he in? And the way that I kind of took that, and he can clarify it, was that Julian wasn't great when he didn't have 2 first-round top 5 picks at receiver. I think my counter to that would be, first of all, he still was, in my opinion, still very, very good. And then the second part of it was nobody would be without those two. And the reality is you don't have receiver depth charts the way that you used to. You don't, because you can't. So when you lose 2 first-round picks, or they're both down, or you lose your 2 starting wide receivers, the guys behind them, even if they are former 5-star kids in the instances of last year, wildly inexperienced. Wildly. And you'll be in the same spot this year. If something were to happen at wide receiver, you go look at the depth chart behind it. It's kids. So it's and this was one of the criticisms people had of Brian a little bit with the receiver rotation is he kind of just plays the top 2 guys, and unless you have to really have the stomach to sit there and kind of wait your turn. And some of these guys last year didn't anymore with Quincy and Milan at Notre Dame. So I don't know that criticism of Julian would be criticism that you couldn't apply to almost anybody.
And the one thing that might be different this year, Bo, is you have a Devin McCune who's played a lot of football, and you have a Kyle Parker who was at LSU. So you have a couple guys that have played some football that break glass in case of emergency. Maybe they can come in here, and you don't have freshmen that have never seen the field. So that might be a plus. Yeah.
Some little bit of a veteran presence as they kind of transferred over that receiver room from like guys who have been developed here to guys who have not.
I just think we're going to see such a difference in a quarterback that doesn't have to worry about a competition. Like this, you get for Julian all of spring. Mm-hmm. He's the guy. All of fall camp. He's the guy. The first couple weeks of the season, I think you're going to see it game 1, and then especially in game 2, because I think they spread it on in Texas if they're able to.
I mean, just from a do the game that I always do, like how did you do against your biggest opponents? Here's Julian last year at Texas, 13-20, 126, a touchdown, no picks, in a game that we came on that Monday and said you could have given him a lot more and he could have handled it. Ryan said it as well. The next big game they played was at Washington. They won 24-6. He's 22-28 for 208 and 2 touchdowns. Then the next one they played ranked at Illinois. He went 19-27, 166, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Penn State here, 20-23, 316, 4 touchdowns, no picks. The Michigan game, 19-26, 233, 73% completions, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. Indiana in the Big Ten championship game, 21-29, 258, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. And then in the loss to Miami, 22-35, 287, a touchdown and 2 picks. So that was the one that was the one that I'm sure there's some stuff he'd like to have back there. But outside of that, he was pretty much lights out as a first-year starter. And by the way, he was a Heisman finalist.
I mean, the response.
You're in good hands.
Yeah.
And that's what I was going to say. He's a Heisman finalist last year, and he went through this all for the first time. This year, when he goes through it, he's going to be like, oh, I remember this, or I've done this already, and he's only going to get better.
Yes, he's going to get bigger, stronger, faster. And here's the beautiful thing about it. His skill set, the accuracy, all of that comes along for the ride. So now you're just going to get a better version of him, who I wouldn't trade for any quarterback in the country. Buckeye basketball upping their scheduling. We'll get to the details on that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
The only workplace in America to participate in the Doorknob Fart Game. And we also play office basketball and sometimes do radio. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
When it comes to your roof, there's really one team to call, Newman Roofing. From the first call to the final nail, our team of professionals will be there every step of the way, answering any questions you have throughout the entire process. So give Newman Roofing a call today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit us online at newmanroofing.com.
At some point, you stopped calling it pain and started calling it just how I am now. Deep down, you know that's not okay. Get back to the normal you, the one who is active and carefree. Let's start with an introduction to Dr. Tesner and his team at QC Kinetics. Their regenerative treatments for joint pain in Dublin and Gahanna. I thought I would never be able to enjoy playing sports again because of how bad my knees felt from playing football. But then I went to go see Dr. Tesner and his team, and they gave me a couple of shots, and I was back to playing, back to balling, and doing all the things that I love. They're helping patients with pain from arthritis or injury in their knees, hips, and shoulders. The treatments are natural. Your body knows how to heal. QC Kinetics finally gives it the right tools. No operating rooms, no hardware, no watching summer come and go from a recliner. Get back to the version of you that doesn't map out a route based on where you can sit or avoid stairs. Right now is the right time, and the first step doesn't cost you a thing. Call 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544.
When you saw your heating bills this winter, did you think this is out of control? The problem is your house is leaking money, and the only thing higher than your heating bills are your cooling bills. Steve here from USA Insulation. Let us fix your energy bill problem for good. If you aren't foam insulated, you really aren't insulated. For $99 a month, interest-free, we'll foam your home and help cut those energy bills. 529-2440 or USAinsulation.net.
USA Insulation.
Recently, our company softball team lost the big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Dale's a loser. I play to win, like early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-MY-RESET. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T&Cs apply. In-app only.
BMI Federal Credit Union is celebrating their 90th anniversary all year long with monthly sweepstakes. Get in on your chance to win free gas for a year when you lower your car payment with a BMI FCU auto loan. Apply today at bmifcu.org/gas.
Planning to buy a home in 2026? Not sure where to start? The Ohio Housing Finance Agency can help. With a step-by-step homebuyer's guide and financial tools, the Ohio Housing Finance Agency can make homeownership part of your future. Eligible homebuyers may qualify for down payment assistance and reduce mortgage interest rates. To see if you qualify and to find a mortgage lender, visit myohiohome.org.
The Fan has a secret radio station. It's called The Fan 2. You can listen to the Bob and Tom Show, Jim Rome, and Buckeye stuff. Why do they pay me big money to whisper? The Fan 2 is on the Fan's HD2 channel and streaming on the Fan app. You're welcome. Get Eco.
Aaron, who taught you about business?
My mom.
Huh, really?
Yes, really.
What business was she in?
She was in the business of raising 3 kids by herself.
Single mom. That explains a lot.
What do you mean?
Well, it explains why you do an additional $500 worth of repairs for free when people have to buy a new hot water heater.
If someone had done that for Mom, she would have thought they were an angel sent from heaven.
Get Eco.
And it explains why you give people credit for all the money they spent with us for HVAC repairs when they need to buy a new system.
Yeah.
And it explains why you were such a maniac about finding a good toilet that we could sell fully installed for just $650.
Maniac?
You were a maniac, Aaron.
Get Eco.
We've got plumbers, we've got electricians, and we've got HVAC technicians. And every one of them has a mom.
I love you, Mom.
GetEco.com.
All your favorite Fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Distilled sports discussion served in light beer quantities. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Indeed you are. Ladies and gentlemen, boy, it's time to do something you've all thought about at one point. It's time to upgrade that road trip of yours, and my good friends and the good folks at RCD RV are there to help. And their open house is ongoing. It's May 2nd. It culminates on the 9th. You can shop 850-plus RVs, all from the trusted brands that you know and love at RCD. Plus, they'll have free maintenance seminars, financing incentives, and more. Plus, if you buy any in-stock camper, they're giving you a $1,000 RCD gift card. You buy a motorhome, they'll up that to $1,500. There are no limits in the RV life. It's just you, the family, the freedom to go anywhere you want. No crowds, no renting a car, no airports. Man, that sounds sweet. Get to RCD RV's open house sale. It's May 2nd through the 9th, and start planning your adventure today. Buckeye basketball, I see you. I see what you're up to. Big off season for Jake and the guys, and a big season upcoming certainly for them. And now we have the story from our buddy Adam Jardy at the Dispatch that Ohio State will play at UConn in 2026-27 before the Huskies travel to Columbus for the rematch in 27-28. The Buckeyes have already scheduled 3 other power conference opponents, neutral site games with BYU and Kansas, road test at Notre Dame. At the conclusion of home and home with the Fighting Irish that started this past year, this year's meeting with the 7th all-time between Ohio State and UConn, with the Buckeyes holding a 4-2 all-time series lead. I love this. I love the fact that Anthony Thompson is coming, and we're going to get to see him showcased against some of the best players in the country. This should be a really fun team. When we start to really get into this won't be for months. When you think about, and we were just having the conversation about DeBonsa and Peterson and those kids at the top, Boozer, which seems to be like a massive draft class. This is an Ohio kid. It's a kid they went really, really big on. He's a really, I mean, I've met him, and he's done a little basketball camp for the boys, and so not just for ours, but for a bunch of kids. And I've seen him play in person. He's long. He can shoot it. What will be the minimum requirement for this to be viewed as a success? I mean, if you look back on another Ohioan, would you consider the Darren Peterson year at Kansas a success?
No.
I think that's probably the right answer.
You probably have to make a final. The expectations there are Final Four, so you probably have to do that. Like you're reading off. So I think that Kansas had the CBS Sports Classic. Who are the Jayhawks fielding?
Well, they ended up getting the best player in the country again. Like 2 weeks ago, they got a point guard who's the best player in the country, and they have another 5-star kid. They weren't able to do much in the portal, and their best kind of most consistent player last year was Flory Badunga, and he went to Louisville. I'll tell you, want to do the who's on their team game? Go do it at Kentucky.
Yeah.
Because Mark Pope has swung and missed on everything. They did nothing in recruiting. They've done nothing in the portal. That is, I mean, if you just think to yourself, imagine if that happened here, like what's happening at Kentucky basketball. Meanwhile, Louisville cleaned up in the portal. They got all this money to spend. They even went back to Papa John. Papa John now, they can get money again. They're trying to reinstate him.
He's good now?
I think so. I think he's good.
Statute of limitations on his behavior?
Nothing to see here.
Okay.
He's got a lot of money, and we need it. Think about what Louisville did. We had that conversation about like Texas Tech and who could be like the Texas Tech of the Big Ten, and we mentioned Michigan State. Louisville's got a lot of money at their disposal. I mean, they got Keenholz. Their transfer portal class was completely loaded. They got the number one player in the class in Badunga. They got a massive rookie last year who's going to get drafted, a freshman rather. Like that's a place that can go a little bit. That place can absolutely go. A lot of money.
Yeah, this for Ohio State next season, and I'm glad they're doing this. I'm glad they're scheduling these tough non-conference games. They're trying to make their non-Big Ten resume as strong as anybody else in the country. I think it's today the NCAA is going to make it officially official, the expansion of the NCAA tournament, so their path to the big dance gets a little bit easier. But this, for me, the expectations are the same for Jake Diebler and company is you make a run now in the NCAA tournament to the second weekend.
Calipari had a great line. I agree with you, Reese. At some point you got to get to a Sweet 16. And that'll be on Garland more than it'll be on Thompson. It'll be about, or not Garland, it'll be on Junie. Mobley.
You say Mobley.
Sorry, their games are so similar sometimes. They like Garland and Mobley, their games are so similar to me. That will primarily be on him. But yeah, that's it. Sweet 16, Elite 8, something like that. That's probably the minimum requirement of all these things. Did you guys see the comments from Calipari on the 76 teams?
I don't think I saw Calipari's. They had a bunch of coaches. I think Matt Norlander of CBS Sports got a bunch of coaches, mostly on the record, but like anonymously on the record talking about it. And it feels that there's no real consensus that this is a good thing.
No, there isn't. And Cal was very critical of it. And he said the only way that you'll know that they have good intentions is if they put a bunch if they put a bunch of mid-majors in. If they get more mid-majors, which we know they're not going to do, and anything else is just completely undercutting the sport. And I couldn't agree with Cal more. And he even said, look, I've been that guy and I've been this guy. I've been at a blue blood and I've been in the mid-majors. Those are the schools that need to be better represented. We don't need any more SEC Big Ten teams in this thing.
And here's Gonzaga's Mark Few to Matt Norlander, quote, "It's the dumbing down of the regular season, which is sad. We're out here trying to generate more interest in the regular season, and expansion doesn't help. That's where we've been struggling. Plus, the NCAA tournament unit shares. What's happening there? Don't screw with something when you already know it's great. The tournament is as great as it is," end quote.
So unit shares, what he's talking about is his margin's going to come down because now you got eight more teams.
Were they doing the Pac-12 Gonzaga as a basketball school?
I think they might be headed there.
I think they are starting that this year. It's funny, and we're going to talk about this later with the Kevin Clark comments on Finebaum's show, but nobody in these sports wants these things, yet this is what we're doing. Like, why don't we listen to people who love our sports and know about our sports and are involved in it and the people that truly want the best for it? Why do we not listen to these people?
Because those people's number one objective isn't to find more money. And unfortunately, the people who are making the decisions, theirs is. You mentioned Kevin Clark and his comments on college football from the Paul Finebaum show. Coming up in the second hour of the program, we will be joined by Mr. Finebaum, and we will play those Clark comments and try to answer the big question of who should run college football. We'll get to all of that coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
If the sound of another man slammed against plexiglass turns you on, you've come to the right place. Proud to be your home for Jackets hockey. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone for Window Nation. May's weather is pretty nice, but those hot summer days will be here soon, which means high utility bills from your AC running constantly. Don't wait until the heat hits to try and avoid the extra energy costs. Upgrade your home's windows this month during Window Nation's Buy 4, Get 4 free sale. Imagine replacing all your windows and getting half of them for free. Plus, you could even get them with no money down and no monthly payment or interest for 2 years. Older windows and even some newer builder-grade windows don't always seal tightly. So your cool AC can slowly slip outside without you even noticing. And your energy bills take the hit. Window Nation windows are built with insulated glass, strong frames, and tight seals that fit just right. You get a cooler, more comfortable house, and you could even see lower energy bills the first month. They're so good, Window Nation offers a lifetime warranty. Plus, they're rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau. now. Don't wait to put an end to your window problems. Save big with Window Nation's Buy 4, Get 4 free sale going on now. The sale ends soon, so book your consultation at windownation.com.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Bring your landscape back to life with an unbeatable deal from Ohio Mulch. 5 bags of premium mulch for just $10. You choose from absolute black, brown, or red to make your flowers pop and your curb appeal shine. Whether you're refreshing flower beds or finishing up that weekend project, Ohio Mulch, they have everything you need to make it look like a pro did it.
Ohio Mulch, landscape supply, cleaner, greener, better.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. One question I'm always asked is, how did you become the largest injury firm in the world with over 1,000 attorneys and $25 billion in verdicts and settlements? One way was our financial strength. Medical malpractice is the third leading cause of death in America. To prosecute a typical case costs up to $250,000 in case cost. We advance them all. Product liability cases can have similar costs with an army of lawyers on the other side. Automobile insurance companies have the resources to fight. Guess what? So do we. Many law firms simply may not have the financial firepower to work up your case the way you deserve. And we don't charge by the hour. No recovery, no fee. If you have a question about your case or wish to become a client, go to forthepeople.com on your mobile device or computer 24/7. It's that easy. Morgan & Morgan. Injured? Dial pound law.
Morgan & Morgan, Ohio office located at 600 Vine Street, Cincinnati. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Coffee, sandwich, hash browns. Tired of the same breakfast routine? Time to refresh your morning ritual with a $6 Tim's Trio from Tim Hortons. It starts with a premium blend of freshly brewed coffee, a hot, savory breakfast sandwich made with freshly cracked eggs, and for a tasty twist, a daily baked donut to sweeten the deal. Ask for the $6 Tim's Trio. Your morning ritual refreshed. Only at your neighborhood Tim Hortons. At participating U.S. restaurants, must ask for offer. Medium coffee only. Terms apply.
Feeling stressed or overwhelmed? Not sure how to get the mental health help you need? We've got your back. Call the Mental Health Insurance Assistance Office at 855-438-6442. We'll help you figure out what mental health benefits may be in your health plan. No more confusion, just the support you deserve. Call the Mental Health Insurance Assistance Office at 855-438-6442.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Now is the time to call Comer & Cross and transform your garage with a gleaming new Comer & Cross garage floor. Maybe your garage floor has exposed concrete with stains and cracks or a bad epoxy or paint job. Well, a new Comer & Cross garage floor will transform your entire garage in just one day. Now, here's the great part of this whole story. If you call them right now, they're going to take 50% off installation. Yeah, that's right, 50% off installation from Comer & Cross when you call them today at 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. A Comer & Cross garage floor is the gold standard, guaranteed to never chip, crack, or show tire lift like epoxy or paint ever. Plus, they make it easy. They'll take your stuff out of the garage for you. They'll fix your cracks and pits perfectly like it's a new garage floor, and then they'll apply the proprietary finish that you pick. Yeah, I said it. They'll fix your cracks and pits. What's wrong with that? That's what you want. So call them today at 1-800-NEW-FLOOR to get 50% off installation. That's 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. Or go to comercross.com.
Say goodbye to car care headaches with Carvenience from Hinderer Motor Company. This is Justin Hinderer. For only $49, we'll pick up your vehicle, leave you with a rental, and return it fully serviced and spotless. No more juggling your schedule or wasting hours at the shop. Carvenience lets you focus on what matters while we take care of all the rest, making life easier. Schedule your service today at HindererMotorCompany.com.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios. Driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. The slide continues for the Cincinnati Reds. For the third night in a row, the Redlegs were walked off at Wrigley Field. Cubs won 7-6 in Game 3 of the 4-game set. 6 straight losses for Cincinnati, who's still 20-17 on the season. They'll look to avoid the series sweep in Chicago today at 2:20. You can hear that game over on the Fan, too. That's 1460 on the AM dial. The Guardians look to split their 4-game set in Kansas City. First pitch today at 2:10. Guardians won 3-1 on Wednesday. In college hoops, the NCAA is expected to officially expand the men's and women's tournaments sometime today. The big dance will go from 68 to 76 teams next March. And Ohio State men's hoops has agreed to a home-and-home with UConn. It'll start in stores next season back in Columbus in 2027. This update's sponsored by the Waterworks and Header Plumbing, Drain, Heating, and Cooling. Together to serve you better. Scheduled today at thewaterworks.net. Breaking sports news when it happens on the Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Bo knows many people. He talks to the interesting ones on this show. This is Bishop and Friends.
You know, we talk all the time about the college football calendar. If they're going to expand this thing to 76, then just start it the week before. Just instead of making teams play Monday, Tuesday, and then race to play a game on Thursday or Friday, just play it the week before. Just move everything, do the same thing, move everything back. Start the season a week earlier, do the conference championships a week earlier, and do a whole round of it if you want. Like, why stop at 76? Go 128. Make everybody play. Let
everybody
76?
in. Hey, are you an NCAA Division I team? You're a tournament team too. Congratulations.
You're all in. I started a week early.
I've said this for a long time. I think eventually they're going to put everybody in.
Yeah.
I really do.
You're no longer teams, you're units.
Yeah, you could do 128 and just have everybody play the previous weekend.
Let's not even have a regular season. Let's just have 2 big tournaments where everybody plays.
What was your record? We went 6-0 this year. We were eliminated in the first round of 360-team NCAA tournament. Oh, fantastic. That's great. That is great. We talk about this all the time, and Kevin Clark's an NFL guy, but he's got a lot of passion for college football. Used to be at The Ringer, now at ESPN. He works with, does a lot of stuff with the Mannings and Omaha Productions and those things. He pinch hits on Finebaum from time to time, and I think he's doing it on Friday. He was on Paul's shows Tuesday, and they got into a little bit of a conversation about who should run college football. Here was that exchange.
I think that college football should be run by people who like college football. Every idea I've seen, Paul, about playoff expansion seems like it's come from people who don't like college football, don't know why we like it, and it's really starting to tick me off. A 24-team playoff would be a disgrace. So 12, and then if you have to, in a decade, go to 16. Fine. But the idea of 24, the idea I've seen floated of 32, I just think it's ludicrous. And it devalues the regular season. And at some point, if you start making decisions that are not for the best interest of the sport and for the interests of either TV networks or ADs who want to bail themselves out from bad decisions that they themselves have made. I saw the thing the other day about how much the Big Ten is giving out in revenue per team. Why is private equity still trying to be in the mix there? Same deal with the Big 12. If everything now is a bailout for ADs that can't help themselves, then college football fans are in for a really, really rough decade, okay? But if we start coalescing around the idea that college football is the best regular season in sports, I think there can be a reaction to this where there's so much that can go on here in the next couple of years. I think the number one thing is making sure that we don't lose sight of why people like college football. And we don't lose sight of the fact that October 15th and 22nd and 29th, those can be the best days on the sports calendar. It's not about the playoff. It will never be about the playoff. I don't think the playoff will ever be the focal point of the sport in the same way March Madness is. I don't think that's ever going to happen. But if you try to make it that, then you ruin the regular season, you ruin the sport. So that's the biggest thing to me. People who like college football should make decisions on the future of it.
All right, two-parter there. First, he says a lot of the things that we talk about all the time. If I were to ask you guys the question, why do you love college football? What's your number one reason?
Grew up on it.
All you know?
All I've ever known.
Yeah.
I think I love college football because of tradition and because for most of my life, every game mattered.
I guess the one word is community.
That's a great one. Yeah. I think all of those things are the right answers. I loved in the old days there was a sectionalism to it. My team out here is better than your team over there. Your team down there is not as good as our teams up here. That type of stuff. I love that you could argue about who was better, which conference was better than the other, which one was deeper, who had the better teams. I love that the sectional part of it. The pageantry. My God, the pageantry is undefeated. There is nothing, and I've been to all of it. There's nothing in sports better than a big game on campus. You can feel it. You talked about the sense of community. Yeah, there's a beauty in the players come and go, but the laundry stays. The laundry stays. For 100 and some years, they've worn silver hats and scarlet jerseys and silver pants. And yes, there were sometimes they wore white hats, but you get the point. Every once in a while, a cannonball hat. Perhaps there will be gray back on the jersey. Oh, maybe there will be. All of those things. All of that is it's all wrapped up in this. But yes, it's also it's the greatest regular season in sports. But you also understand the messiness of it. You understand that you're going to play some cupcakes. You understand that you're going to play a couple of games a year, 4 or 5 games a year that are high leverage games. The beauty in this is that it's not like the NFL. That your most hated rivals in the NFL, you still play them home and away. And you can lose both of those games, and it doesn't mean anything in terms of the success of your season. We don't have that in college football. They're heading there. We hate I think I speak for both of you. Nobody on this program wants a 2014 playoff. I don't think anybody who has the best interest of the sport in mind wants a 2014 playoff. What they want is more money for themselves to cover up mistakes that are made. What they want is exactly what James Franklin was trying to do at Penn State by not playing Ohio State and Michigan. This is a successful season because I made the playoff. We'll make it as easy as possible for me to get into the playoff. It was 12 teams, okay, so I don't want to play Ohio State and Michigan. Now it's 24. Hell, I can go 8-4 and make the playoff in the Big Ten or the SEC. Many of them would have made it last year if there was a 2014 playoff with 4 losses. Iowa had 4 losses. They would have been the 17 seed in this absurd thing. Nobody wants this. The thing that he pointed to is you need to have people who love college football running it. Who do you think those people are? Like, I love it. You guys love it. But I'm not sure that anyone's going to give us the green light to run college football. No one's given Kevin Clark the green light to run college football or anybody else who's a pundit on this sport, Ari and Andy or Josh Pate or anybody else.
So I think to the pundits, and I know Urban loves it, I know Nick Saban loves it, but I think they are probably thrilled with what they're doing relative to the work and relative to the lifestyle, because running the sport is going to take so much.
I think those two love how the sport used to be.
Correct.
They do. And I think they'd love to have it go back. And I look to them and I say, those would be the two in the room that people would listen to. Because this is the biggest thing. You have to have the love there, yes. You have to love the sport and want what's best for it. But people have to listen to you.
Yeah.
And I think there's so few that do.
You're right on that. I think those two I think the first thing that they would try to do is limit the financial stuff. And as soon as you do that, you have no chance.
Yeah, those two obviously have always come to mind, but I just think there's not enough forward thinking with them on the game to make it all work. The first person I think of, Bo, when I think of who loves college football, the very first person I thought of on all this is Mel Kiper Jr., but I don't want to lose him on draft coverage, quite frankly. But nobody loves college football more than Mel.
You have to have this would be kind of the big picture thing for me on all of this when it comes to, if you don't like the 2014 playoff and you don't like some of the things that they're trying to do with the sport and you want to preserve, we've lost the sectionalism. I mean, just think of the things that I said I love. We've lost the sectionalism. There's still a little of that, SEC, Big Ten. But my God, we got 4 teams on the West Coast in the Big Ten. And we got Rutgers and Maryland in the Big Ten. This is not some Midwest conference anymore like it was forever. So I think even that is limited a little bit over the last decade or so with all of the expansive. So you've lost a little bit of that. What's the next thing we talked about? Every game matters. Well, you're losing some of that. I mean, we live in a world here where we lost the Michigan game and still won a national championship. Like forever, that's impossible. You lose that game, you don't get to play for a national championship. We did, and we did. So we've lost some of that. Even the idea of the players come and go. Well, now they're coming and going as quickly as ever. Sometimes they're here a year and you don't even know them. You're jumping on the bandwagon to a kid who you've known for Will Howard's as popular as any Buckeye here in the last 5 or 6 years. He was here for a year. So you got kids playing 6 years. They're trying to put a some sort of a lasso around that. I mean, everything that you loved about this. There are probably older folks out there who said, "Man, I love the bowl season. Used to love that. Like going to Tampa, going to the Outback Bowl, the Citrus Bowl in Orlando, going out to the Fiesta Bowl. Used to love that, like a celebration of the season, turn it into a vacation. That's gone. They've taken everything that matters most to the people who are most passionate about it. They have slowly whittled away all of it, and it's still as popular as ever, but we can all see the train running down the tracks without brakes and know that there has to be some way. So when you consider all of those things, the one thing that I think that has to be the minimum requirement of all of this is, if you're going to run this sport and if the things that I just mentioned are important to you, then you have to find a way to take those things as they currently exist and make the amount of money that they would make from a 24-team playoff. Because that's the only way you're going to get out of it. That's it. Because otherwise, the cheat code on this is always going to be more inventory, more stuff to sell, make more of it. If you go pick up a bottle of Pappy Van Winkle bourbon, there's a great line with it. And it's one of the things that when you think about, I think it applies here a little bit. And I want to make sure I get it exactly right. The line is, we make fine bourbon at a profit if we can, at a loss if we must, but always fine bourbon. Somebody has to have that in college football. You have to have that mentality. It can't always be about the money, and you need somebody running it who is willing to say, look, we're all making a lot. We don't have to be like a drug addict who has to get more high every year. So until you have somebody who's willing to do that and networks who are willing to do that, this is kind of where you're at. We'll continue here. Dabo with some comments, too, that just are so Dabo. We'll get to all this coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We're the highest rated sports radio station in America. There's no joke there. We just are. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Tired of snoring? Sleep Better Columbus can help with a custom mouthpiece that opens your airway and stops the snoring. No mask, no noise. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or visit sleepbettercolumbus.com today. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
James Laurinaitis here for my guys at Green & Sons, the premier Kubota dealership in Central Ohio. Green & Sons has all the Kubotas you need to tackle your land and come out a winner. They have zero-turns, skid steers, tractors from 18 to 171 horsepower, and also utility vehicles. My favorite is my RTV Sidekick. The best thing about Green & Sons is they've been family-owned and operated since 1970, and you will love dealing with the Green family and their winning team. Do what I did and check out Green & Sons located in Mount Sterling and Marysville, or online at greenandsons.com for all your Kubota needs.
It's 2026, the year you achieve your health goals. The Good Feet store wants to help. Trade in your bad feet for good feet. We want to help you walk, run, exercise, and play in comfort this year. Visit the Good Feet store on Polaris Parkway near the Polaris Mall or on Stringtown Road at Grove City.
Common Man and Timmy. Voted America's dumbest show by Marconi voters. Common Man is a Columbus radio legend. And by legend, I mean it's a miracle he hasn't been fired yet. And Timmy is, well, Timmy will complain about anything and everything. And he kind of looks like a woman. Giggity, giggity, giggity. So there's that. Common Man and Timmy.
Sponsored by Hinderer Motor Company.
Weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 on The Fan.
Hey, it's Anthony Rothman. Get up to $750 cash back when you refinance your auto loan with Tel-Ohio Credit Union. Visit telohio.org to learn more.
Offer valid until June 30th, subject to credit approval. Restrictions apply. Tel-Ohio is open to all in central and southwestern Ohio. Federally insured by NCUA.
A noisy garage door is a cry for help. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello, owner of Don's Garage Door Service. Most repairs are simple, but if left untreated, they can turn into costly repairs. Your garage door works hard every day, and a little maintenance goes a long way. We fix garage doors fast with quality parts designed to last a lifetime. Over 90,000 five-star reviews don't happen by accident. They happen by putting people first. Fixing your garage doors is what we do. From repairs to upgrades, call Don's Garage Door Service today.
Spring is here. Now's the time to get your air conditioner ready with a $49 AC tune-up from Columbus Worthington Air. An AC tune-up can help save money on your energy bill and prevent expensive breakdowns. As your local home service experts, everything we do is backed by our exceptional service guarantee. Proudly serving Columbus homeowners for 90 years and counting. Columbus Worthington Air and Bryant Heating and Cooling. Whatever it takes. Visit cwaohio.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions. License number 47543.
Good news. Jack has personally invited the fan to the Memorial Tournament, and we're broadcasting 30 hours of live content, and we'll try not to embarrass ourselves.
Sponsored by Ohio for Responsible Gambling. Visit pausebeforeyouplay.org.
Hey, it's T-Bone again. Sleep apnea doesn't have to rule your nights. Sleep Better Columbus has been treating snoring and sleep apnea for over 15 years with proven results, and now has an office open in Marysville. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or go to sleepbettercolumbus.com. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
Planning to buy a home in 2026? Not sure where to start? The Ohio Housing Finance Agency can help. With a step-by-step homebuyer's guide and financial tools, the Ohio Housing Finance Agency can make homeownership part of your future. Eligible homebuyers may qualify for down payment assistance and reduced mortgage interest rates. To see if you qualify and to find a mortgage lender, visit myohiohome.org.
Feeling stressed or overwhelmed? Not sure how to get the mental health help you need? We've got your back. Call the Mental Health Insurance Assistance Office at 855-438-6442. We'll help you figure out what mental health benefits may be in your health plan. No more confusion, just the support you deserve. Call the Mental Health Insurance Assistance Office at 855-438-6442.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Mostly increasing clouds throughout the day today as temperatures struggle to get into the mid to upper 50s to low 60s with gusty winds. For tonight, increasing clouds overnight with our lows in the 40s. And then for Friday, we do have a chance of showers on and off throughout the day. Otherwise, mostly cloudy and warmer with highs in the mid to upper 60s. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
Matty Ice is currently bathing himself in creamy jalapeno dip, and I've officially run out of ways to tease this show. Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays at noon.
The Fan. What's the weather outside? Who cares? Bakers and shorts. This is Bishop and Friends.
And as always, we're proudly brought to you by our great friends at Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for nearly 8 decades. A couple of days away here, kids. Mom's Day. Go see my guys. Easton, Sawmill, they'll take care of you. They'll make it right, even if you've forgotten to this point. Still plenty of time. One of the having this conversation about running the college football and all of it, there's a million different, and really this next guy you're going to hear from, I think this is a great example of why coaches want the 2014 playoff, because it's going to give you cover. It's going to give you cover for lackluster seasons. You can have a down year, and you're still going to make the playoff. There are teams, just go pull up the final top 25 of last year and just start assigning numbers to the teams that are in the top 25, 1 through 24. And then also understands the subjective process. So teams that are ranked in the final, like AP, they wouldn't even have to put in there. They're not going to have all those group of 5 teams in there. They're going to have mostly the power conference 5s are going to make up most of it. One of the guys who probably benefited most from the previous era of college football and sold a very specific thing that hit a nerve with recruits, and then they were pretty damn good at development too. Let's give him his flowers, was Dabo Swinney. He has also been dragged kicking and screaming through this current era of college football and has fallen flat on his face, as has his program. What you're about to hear from him, some of this is just utter nonsense. It just is. It's just absolutely utter nonsense. So let's start with some of it, and this is probably the one that is going to be the most utter nonsense. Was he has some comments here about how Clemson has had success against schools with more.
We always got to, have a chip on our shoulder. I mean, because it just is what it is. We don't have the alumni base that some places have. We don't have some of the things that some of the schools that we've played and had to compete with over the years have. It's just the way it is. But I've always we're 3-1 against Ohio State. we're 4-2 against Notre Dame. I mean, Notre Dame has their own TV station. They make their own rules. They print their own money. They got like a money machine in the backyard or something. We've beaten Texas A&M a couple times. We've beaten Oklahoma a couple times. We've won 4 in a row against Auburn. I mean, we've beaten Nick Saban in Alabama in 2 national championships. And so, you know, we've done all of that at Clemson. I mean, again, when I got the job here prior to our tenure here, Clemson hadn't won the ACC in 20 years, and it wasn't a 17-team league in those days. Clemson hadn't won 10 games in 20 years. We've had 13 10-win seasons in the past 15 years. You know, we've won. We've punched above our weight class, if you will, for a long time.
So it's a little bit of selective, very political, right? You know, some of the success that he's talking about there, he's talking about in the previous era of college football. And I gave him his flowers on that, and he deserves them. He won 2 national titles there. I covered Clemson when I've been there, the Bowden Bowl era stuff, and Clemson was Clemsoning before Dabo got there. And we talked about that. He deserves all his flowers for winning the way that he did and changing the game in a recruiting standpoint at that place. He very much sold the same thing that Bobby Bowden sold 40 years ago at Florida State. He sold the Fellowship of Christian Athletes is a big part of like what he sold. Religion was a big part of it, and it hit with a lot of kids down there, and it was genuine. Just as it very much was genuine for Coach Bowden, that those were the type of kids that he wanted, and those were the kids that he really won with in recruiting. Some of this other stuff is other nonsense, and so here he is on the NIL resources to compete.
Now it's just different. You know, we don't have the same NIL budget as some places have.
Yeah.
You know, we don't have, you know, some of the same built-in resources from an alumni base and all that type of stuff. We don't. But guess what? We never have. But you know what we do have? We got enough. We have enough. We just got to be good with what we have. You know, I mean, we may only have 5 loaves and 2 fish, but we got enough. You know, we got to bring all we got to the table and use it, you know, and be smart. And then we just got to be Clemson. We have to be. We've won here for so long because we've been unique and we've been very uncommon in how we've done things. And we just have to continue to be that.
Do you know how many players he had drafted?
He had 9.
Oh, I got all the stats right here.
He had 2 more players drafted than he did wins last season.
Go ahead.
He had 9 players drafted, which ties a Clemson record in the 7-round draft. All of those players were drafted in the first 5 rounds of the draft, which ties Ohio State for the most amount of players drafted in the first 5 rounds of the draft. And 5 of those players were taken in the first 71 picks.
Yeah. Notre Dame had 6. They had 6 drafted. There's 2 things that he kind of leaves out of all of this. Number 1, he's not winning with the talent he used to. Number 2, and you could probably ask folks down there about this, and they would probably agree, when he hasn't had elite offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators, it falls apart pretty quickly. That's a 4-4 football team last year that was preseason top 5 in the country, that went 4-4 in the league and 7-6 overall. This isn't about – no, and I've been very honest with you guys when it comes to these teams in the South, who's got money, who doesn't, and they don't. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that they have the finances that Texas A&M has or some of these other places do, but they have plenty of finances, and they had plenty of talent last year with 9 draftable players in the first 5 rounds, as Baker said, to not lose to Georgia Tech, to not lose at home to Syracuse, for God's sakes. They lost at home to Syracuse. SMU, no shame in that. They lost to Duke 46-45. They did win their last 4 games of the season, including a win against South Carolina. Klubnik played in the bowl game, and they lost to Penn State 22-10. So it's more about you not. This goes back to, though, what we're talking about with the 24 teams. Not that this would have saved Clemson last year, but what this does is it changes the way, it will eventually change the way that fans view success in college football. And that's something I don't think anybody in the sport wants. If you just pull up last year's top 25, this is the dregs of it here. I mean, this is just take the teams 13 and on. You know who was in the playoff, and you know the teams that were in there. You're talking about Utah, Vanderbilt, Virginia, Iowa, Tulane, James Madison, USC, 9-4 Michigan, 9-4 USC, 9-4 Iowa would all be in. 10-3 Houston, 11-2 Navy. I love the midshipmen, but come on. 12-2 North Texas. All of those teams would be in. That's the thing that nobody wants. Nobody wants that except the television partners. They want it because they want more inventory. But nobody else does. I mean, the final CFP rankings, it's even trickier when you think about the seeding of all of this. But this would allow Dabo to go 8-4 and have cover. That's now success.
That's the thing. He's able to just point back to the 2 national championships, how dominant they were last decade. I think he said somewhere in that interview with Greg McElroy that they're still 7th in wins in this decade. Well, 7 doesn't matter if you're, losing the Gator Bowl or if you're losing the Cheez-It Bowl. Like, your fans, and you're a victim of your own expectations, or losing the Pinstripe Bowl, I should say. Like, you've set the expectations so high that this is not good enough, but the talent, it just keeps coming back to me how they had 9 guys drafted.
Right.
So the talent's there. You're doing a great job recruiting, but then it's not translating to on the field. And you can have as many loaves of bread or as many fishes as you want to bring to the damn thing, but it is on you at some point where that talent can't get you in the college football playoff.
Yeah.
And he's one of those schools that I think is going to get hurt by this expansion if he's still around by the time the thing expands, because I don't think he can coach in modern college football anymore relative to the talent that he gets. I think you're going to see Clemson, and a lot of teams in the ACC are going to be like, hey, you're getting talent. You've got more ability to get talent with the transfer portal. Why can't you coach these guys to win?
And to Dabo's credit, later on in that interview and after those answers, he did say, we've got to do a better job. I've got to do a better job of coaching these guys and getting them ready to play. But you mentioned some of the coordinators that he's lost over time.
It's a big problem.
And I think the big difference maybe with Clemson the past few years, because they still have got the talent. They've been recruiting the talent. Now we'll see if that stays the same moving forward here.
Yeah.
But they haven't developed the quarterback or hit on the quarterback, whatever that is. Whether that's they didn't have, and I guess we'll see. If Klubnik goes to the league and he becomes something, you realize, they didn't do a good job with him. But Uyunglele didn't make it. He went to 4 or 5 different schools. It didn't work out for Klubnik last year for him and in some of his biggest games the year before. So you hit with Deshaun and you hit with Trevor Lawrence.
Even
and
Taj
you
Boyd
had some success. Taj Boyd before that. You haven't here recently. So whether that's you're picking the wrong guy or you're not developing them like you used to, that's been a big issue.
Absolutely, it has been. We'll talk about this, among other things, with Mr. Finebaum in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
As the saying goes, trust is earned, never given. When it comes to your roof, who you trust truly matters. At Newman Roofing, we're more than just a business. We're a local, family-owned company built on honesty, integrity, and hard work. From the very beginning, these core values have shaped the way we do business, ensuring a customer experience that's second to none. Our dedication to quality has earned us the trust of thousands of homeowners across Central Ohio. At Newman Roofing, excellence isn't just a word, it's our promise to you. From the moment we step foot on your doorstep to the final handshake, we strive to deliver an experience that keeps you calling back for more. Whether you need a roof repair or a full replacement, our team at Newman Roofing is here to protect what matters most. After all, when your name is on it, it just means more. So give us a call today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit us online at newmanroofing.com. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
At Planet Fitness, we know how important it is to take care of both your mind and body. That's why now through May 15th, all new members get free massage amenities all month long, so you can reset, recover, and leave feeling stronger than when you came in. Join the club for just $1 down, $15 a month, and get free massage amenities for the month of May. No commitment. Deal ends May 15th. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet. See club for details.
Introducing UDF's new Ice Cream Quakes flavors for summer. Get a sugar rush with cotton candy crackle. Try something crunchy and creamy with peanuts and caramel corn. Feel a chili lime kick with mango chili tango. Or go for a summer favorite with peachy cobbler. UDF Summer Ice Cream Quakes. Only at United Dairy Farmers for a limited time.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Cellar, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination. Bishop and Friends present college football's most polarizing figure.
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Come on back to our show, Tim. The audience hates you.
This is ESPN's Paul Finebaum, sponsored by the Roofing Guys. For all your roofing, siding, and gutter needs, contact the Roofing Guys at theroofingguys.com.
All right, buddy, we got a lot to get to today. We got the Buckeyes raking in $91 million from the television deal. We got a calendar. We had Ryan Day on the show a couple of days ago, and I asked him about the calendar. And within a couple of hours, you see the AFCA saying, hey, these are some recommendations that we have. And we'll get to all those things specifically. But I'm curious, when we talk about all of these things that are kind of swirling around the sport, and I give you a tremendous amount of credit for this. I think you give the audience the biggest voice of anybody that does this. And so you probably have a pretty good finger on the pulse in terms of what your constituency wants. What do you think they want most out of college football at this moment?
They want a leveling of the field, so to speak, which means that real rules, transfer portal, tighten. Ultimately, though, they do not like all of this conversation about Washington, about Big Ten, SEC. They're primarily interested in their own schools. So the ones that I'm closest to in terms of the playoff want to see it at 16. Most do want to see the conference championship games go away. Most, if they never hear NCAA legislation, congressional intervention, they would be overjoyed.
Yes. I think then we have similar constituencies despite all of the differences. How does it land in your neck of the woods when you see these numbers that the Big Ten raked in, $91 million for Ohio State, $1.4 billion spread amongst 18 teams, and the possibility that that's just going to continue to keep going up and up? How does that land, and how big of a red flag is that for SEC ADs, coaches, fans?
Well, let me tell you, as a communicator, as a mass communicator, Bo, I gave that story out very gently the other day. I did not want to revolt on our hands. Those stories affect a certain degree of the constituency this way. There's almost what do we have to do to get back in this game? And then their friend says, we can't because those schools up there are so much bigger than ours. We don't have that constituency. It's a little bit of a defeatist attitude. There's a little bit of avoidance. I get that question every time I do an interview, like, what happened to the SEC? Is it over? And I because I talk to you every week, I try not to, give the talking points of the SEC. We'll hear enough of them in 3 weeks. But as somebody who, speaks with SEC officials all the time and speaks to the most SEC audience in the country, the news gets grimmer by the hour. So there's only one way to take care of this. The SEC is not going to outmaneuver the Big Ten in terms of dollars and cents. That at least for the time being, that train has left the station. There's only one way, and that's on the football field.
It is. Look, it's hard for folks in the Big Ten when you say that, Purdue's getting $78 million a year from their thing. There's teams in this league that are like, wait, what? Rutgers got $78 million? You got to be kidding me. What are they doing for that? And I make those points all the time. And the thing I'm curious about, so when can the SEC, and this I acknowledge is a tricky one, so but you're professional, your employer and the SEC and that marriage, when can the SEC kind of go back to the drawing board? Because I'm thinking of this, and I mentioned this earlier this week on our show, the SEC still had several of the highest ranked games of this season were SEC games. They played the hits, and from a rating standpoint, it worked, but they're not being compensated as richly as the Big Ten is on this. When can they attempt to be?
No, but what's so interesting, and I don't mean to give a history lesson here, but the deal that the SEC got out of was so bad that this deal, the one that was consummated right before COVID, was actually celebrated. What I mean by that is the previous commissioner, and I don't want to come off as a critic of his. He was one of my closest friends, and I gave the eulogy at his funeral. So I just want to say I say that to establish my bona fides. He cut one of the worst deals in television history. He cut a $15 million deal in the 90s, or in the actually 2000s. It was a second contract of one done in the 90s with CBS. He was in his 70s, and he thought a deal with CBS, the so-called Tiffany of the networks, was good for the league. It wasn't. It was a disaster because it was. You don't do $15 million leagues in the era that we were going into, and he didn't see that. So Greg Sankey started working on the SEC deal now early. He made it clear anybody was available. CBS dropped out. Fox was really never a player. So he cut the all-encompassing deal. The one thing he got out of it were those games on ABC. And for all the differential of money, there's nothing more valuable than noon to midnight when you have your top three games every week on the same network.
There's no question. I mean, we complain about it all the time here. Ohio State has to play Big Noon basically every week because Fox gets these first picks, and so you're kind of stuck in this noon time slot, and it's something we lament all the time. Now, in the words of Don Draper, that's what the money's for, right? That's why we give you the 91, is because you're carrying the weight for the rest of that's part of it. When you think, you mentioned 3 weeks, and you had Kevin Clark on. I think he's filling in for you on Friday, if I read that right. And
right.
Kevin's a pretty insightful guy, and he had some comments about you need to have people who love college football running college football, and we used that and said, okay, well, who is that? Who is somebody who really loves it? And I said, no matter who it is, Paul, you got to find somebody, whoever that is, that wants the things all of us want in terms of calendar and guardrails and all these things, but they've got to find a way that the television networks will still compensate you more for that. And that's how we end up being in the 2014 world, because it's the more inventory. It's like the get out of jail free card for these networks. So you've had some time to think about that a little bit. When Kevin said that on your show, who are some folks that you think would be good and voices who we should hear as we're in these Wild West that we're in right now?
Well, I think coaches that are contenders for the playoff should be heard. And all I heard this week from the AFCA, which I've interviewed the president of that, and so have you probably. And this is like talking to the Chamber of Commerce in Washington and having him give opinions on what the Supreme Court is saying. There's no relevancy to it. And, the second in that statement that the AFCA gave out, the first coach I read was Huff from Memphis. Like, okay, they do at least have a shot at the playoff. They're grandfathered in, so to speak. I don't want to hear those people. I want to hear Kirby Smart. I want to hear Ryan Day, Steve Sarkisian, Kyle Whittingham, people that are legitimate contenders on where they think it's going to be. But it's like everything else. It's the accessibility conversation that we heard from Sankey and Petiti 3 or 4 years ago is now okay. If I can get in the playoffs, I save my job. And certainly the NCAA, Charlie Baker doesn't help by bloating the NCAA tournament even more the other day, going to 76.
No, he doesn't. But he's trying to do the same thing they all are, which is just pass the buck on to somebody else, and then it'll be somebody else's problem by the time someone is having to finally deal with it. What I'm curious about, I heard Dabo's comments this week on, poor little old Clemson. Meantime, he's got 9 NFL draft picks in the first 5 rounds, and maybe you just wildly underachieved, Dabo. Maybe that was it. But one thing I'm curious about, and I'm curious how this would land with your fans, I think and we saw James Franklin try doing this at Penn State. What these guys are trying to do is change the narrative of what a successful season is. That's why Franklin didn't want to play Michigan and Ohio State. He said, if I get to the playoff, there's no heat on me at Penn State because now I'm a playoff team. Same thing happened in the college basketball. So, we made the tournament. You can't fire me, right? So do you think that this will land with fans?
Ultimately, if it involves their team, it will. I was blasting Josh Heupel the other day, who I thought did just a miserable job last year. He lost at home to Oklahoma and Vanderbilt, and then to a Big Ten team, I can't remember which one, to end the season in a bowl game. Josh Heupel, without that bid against Ohio State a couple of years ago, he would be on the hot seat. But his fans are saying, well, we did go to the playoffs. Right. If you call that going to the playoffs. But that's what it's about right now. And 10, 15 years ago, if you were Purdue, you could claim, hey, we're bowl eligible. We're going to the Weed Eater Bowl or the Citrus. You can't claim that anymore because nobody gives these bowls any attention, especially when they stick a team like Mississippi State in last year with a 5-7 record.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's fun talk. Always is. Appreciate your time, buddy.
You bet. Thanks, bro.
There he goes, Paul Finebaum, the Paul Finebaum Show, ESPN and SEC Network. There's not a whole lot different between the schools that really matter down there and the schools that really matter up here. And when he mentioned Ryan, Kirby, Sark, Whittingham, yeah, guys who are in it. Guys who are in it right now are the folks you got to hear from, and they ought to be having a major voice in what this looks like going forward. We'll get Thing or Not a Thing up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Big voice guy here to remind you that you're listening to The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Okay, thanks. I have 3 more seconds. Bye-bye.
Eggland's Best. The only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste. Plus, superior nutrition. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Getting a little older doesn't have to mean, well, getting older. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health. And if you're feeling low energy, can't sleep, can't lose weight, are struggling with brain fog, or your sex drive is off, it's time to change it up. At Tri-State Men's Health, our advanced medical strategies featuring TRT, GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, and more treat low T and other hormonal issues to help you shed pounds, have more energy, enhance your body composition, improve sleep, increase your sex drive, and so much more, getting you back in the game again. So don't be older. Be stronger in the gym. Be sharper at work. Be better in the bedroom, and be more confident in every part of your life. So call us today and find out how our advanced treatment strategies could change the game for you. Your first visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on one of our advanced treatment plans on the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
Feature therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Hey there, friends. It's Bo Bishop. If you want to upgrade your summer road trip, you got to see my friends at RCD RV. Their open house sale going on May 2nd through the 9th includes free maintenance seminars, financing incentives, accessory discounts, and more. Plus, shop over 850 RVs from all the top brands. Need more? Buy any in-stock camper and get a $1,000 RCD gift card. Or go motorhome and grab $1,500. The RCD RV open house sale, May 2nd through the 9th. Don't miss it. Visit rcdrv.com and start planning your adventure now.
Call the folks at Buckeye, night or day. The kitchen drain has had enough. The toilet's called it quits. Drains are clogged throughout the house. I'm gonna throw a fit.
Clogged drain, no problem. It's 93 or free. I'll clear any drain or you don't pay with a 1-year guarantee.
It's 93 or free. Guaranteed.
Call 614-683-9911. Call the folks at Buckeye, night or day.
Thinking about buying your first home? Now, with Third Federal, you can buy your first home and pay no PMI. Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. Private mortgage insurance, or PMI, can cost thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. And you may not realize PMI doesn't protect you. It only protects the lender in case of default. But at Third Federal, you can buy a home with just 5% down and no PMI. Plus, first-time home buyers get $750 off a closing cost. So if you're thinking about buying your first home, go for it and visit thirdfederal.com.
Even before you find a home, lock in 6.09% APR, 6.12% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3rd-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. See conditions for closing cost coupon at thirdfederal.com/FTHB. Equal housing lender.
All your favorite fan shows are on YouTube, along with those fake YouTube ads like Chew This Gum and It Grows New Teeth. Experience the splendor of Bo sitting in his closet, Timmy Hall's gouty gold chains, and Matty Ice wearing a coat in 90-degree weather. It's all there. Head to YouTube and subscribe today.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Now is the time to call Comer & Cross and transform your garage with a gleaming new Comer & Cross garage floor. Maybe your garage floor has exposed concrete with stains and cracks or a bad epoxy or paint job. Well, a new Comer & Cross garage floor will transform your entire garage in just one day. Now, here's the great part of this whole story. If you call them right now, they're going to take 50% off installation. Yeah, that's right. 50% off installation from Comer & Cross when you call them today at 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. A Comer & Cross garage floor is the gold standard, guaranteed to never chip, crack, or show tire lift like epoxy or paint ever. Plus, they make it easy. They'll take your stuff out of the garage for you. They'll fix your cracks and pits perfectly like it's a new garage floor, and then they'll apply the proprietary finish that you pick. Yeah, I said it. They'll fix your cracks and pits. What's wrong with that? That's what you want. So call them today at 1-800-NEW-FLOOR to get 50% off installation. That's 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. Or go to comercross.com.
The Fan Poll is sponsored by JT's Pizza and Pub, home of award-winning pizza and $2 tall boys. All day, every day.
Keep your friends close and your producers closer. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, time for a little thing or not a thing on a Thursday. Hit it, fellas.
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Billiards Plus. Find your next grill and everything you need for the master griller. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
So on Wednesday, I learned who Dan Issel was. Kentucky basketball legend.
You didn't know?
I did not know.
Oh.
Played for the Wildcats 1967 and 1970. I think he still holds the career scoring record in Lexington. He was a guest on FanDuel TV's Run It Back. Talked about why UK hasn't won a title since 2012.
Well, a couple of reasons, Lou. I think number one, with NIL, we can't cheat like we used to. I was hoping Boogie was on the show because we need more. We need him to kick in more NIL money and help us out a little bit. But I think the landscape of college basketball with the transfer portal and with NIL has really changed, and it has brought a lot of equality to college basketball. And when you used to count on Kentucky and North Carolina and Duke and Kansas being at the very top, I don't think that's going to happen anymore.
Thing or not a thing?
Well, he just said the quiet part that we've said out loud. And he was kind of tongue-in-cheek if you watch the video. Like, I think he was trying to get money out of Boogie, who normally is on that show. So it was a little bit of tongue-in-cheek, but there's real truth to it. And I've said this forever, because I've been in both areas. And stuff that it's easier to cheat down there. It was for the longest time. It was just easier to cheat. They're remote places that are hard to get to. In the old days, you had to have newspapers, television stations come in and investigate. It's hard to get to some of those places. And so it was just easy to do it under the table down there than it was up here. Not to say it didn't happen here. I'm not naive. It did happen here too. It just happened a lot more down there. And some of these places were really well organized. And I think it is a sign of the real truth. I think probably Kalen DeBoer is figuring that out at Alabama. Nick Saban figured it out and ran. Dabo Swinney figured it out, and there's not much you can do about it. And Kentucky basketball is figuring it out the very hard way, where, from my vantage point, it looks like Kentucky basketball is banking on like the Netflix model, and Louisville is saying, well, we've got massive boosters who can throw some money. We're a bigger town with more money around us. So, there's no quick fix at a place like Kentucky. I think this is the new norm for them.
Get everybody to laugh and chuckle, and they won't worry about that you're doing things illegally or were and telling the truth about it. It is interesting how when this stuff in NIL and paying players and everything has all come on board and everybody can do it at the same level, and obviously some of them can at the same level, but everybody has the revenue share money the same that's going out there, and then you can find other ways to pay players, how some of the things have changed and how the playing field has evened up a little bit. I can't believe, like, Kentucky basketball, I don't think they have a problem with money here, though, because everybody talked about a $22 million roster. Maybe they've just got the wrong guy coaching them right now, or maybe they just have an issue with picking the wrong players here that are motivated by the wrong things, or maybe these players just aren't good enough, or they don't fit together. I don't know what it is. I don't think the money is a problem for Kentucky, but some of these schools, it may be different, and we may never see some of these schools that have dominated sports in the past do it like they have moving forward.
Oh, no. Yeah, it's changed. We're very lucky here that you can live in the past world and thrive and live in the current world and thrive.
So Arizona's Tommy Lloyd turned down North Carolina, but the Wildcats rewarded him with a raise, more money for his staff, and a new chain of command, as the school's president will make more high-level determinations for that program rather than the athletic director. Lloyd's new contract runs through March of 2031, increases his starting salary from around $5.1 to $6.85 million. It also includes the ability for Lloyd to hire a special assistant / general manager and guarantees the staff salary pool no less than $2.9 million. Wow. The University of Arizona president now has, quote, exclusive authority over evaluating Lloyd's job performance, his compensation, the men's basketball operating budget, and player compensation, with collaboration from athletic department officials, which previously those roles fell to the school's AD. Most coaches report to the school's AD, but Lloyd's going to be able to buck that trend. Thing or not a thing?
All right. Do you have the answer? I'm going to ask you questions that I don't know if you have the answer to. Did the current athletic director hire Tommy Lloyd?
Unknown, but working on.
Yeah. Okay. So the athletic director is Desiree Reed-Francois, is the athletic director at...
And she was hired in 2024.
So no.
So no.
She replaced former athletic director Dave Hickey, who I'm assuming hired Lloyd. Yeah. So he doesn't want to work. He doesn't want to report to somebody. He doesn't want to report to somebody who didn't hire him. And look, this is just leverage. It's just leverage. He had great leverage, and he got what he wanted out of it. It tells me that he doesn't have a great relationship with the current athletic director, so he circumvented it, and now he answers to the president. The reality is, when you're in the position that Tommy Lloyd is in, that Ryan Day is in, that Kirby Smart is in, you really don't answer to anybody. You don't. You answer to wins and losses. You answer to the fan base. You answer to the board. That's it. There isn't anybody in administration that Ryan Day has to answer to. Not really. He doesn't. Doesn't really have a boss. Ryan Day's boss is his record.
I don't think Arizona basketball has anything to worry about here because Arizona basketball is number one at Arizona. They're always going to make sure that's okay. And I believe Tommy Lloyd is a really good coach. I just feel like there's normally structures and organizations for a reason. And the athletic director is in charge of the coaches, and I get Tommy Lloyd isn't this athletic director's guy, and who knows what's going on with them. But when you start circumventing the normal power structure, I feel like bad things usually happen. Like in the NFL, when you have a coach who answers to the owner and not the general manager, I think a lot of times that's a problem. And again, I don't think this is a thing for Arizona, but it's going to be interesting to watch moving forward.
Yeah.
So Jimmy Haslam owns 25% of the Milwaukee Bucks, and according to reports, that could increase this summer. But Jimmy told reporters yesterday that they want to decide on Giannis Antetokounmpo's future with the Bucks before the NBA draft.
I just think before the draft is a natural time, right? Because you're going to, if Giannis does play somewhere else, then we ought to get a lot of assets, and that's John's job to do it. If he's here, then you build the team differently. So, and I think that's always necessary. I just want to stress, though, that our relationship with him, despite what is reported by certain ESPN writers, is very positive.
Thing or not a thing?
So the first thing is, and obviously I know this because I work for him, but sometimes even I forget that they own the Browns, the Bucks, and the Crew. All of those things. Just become a massive player in professional sports here over the last decade. In terms of the Giannis part of it, yeah, it's so tricky. It's so tricky. You have two choices. You can do what the Lakers did with Kobe Bryant, where they basically just let him play it out. And they knew they weren't going to be competitive, but they let him get 30 shots, and he got to play it out. Now, Giannis isn't at the end yet, but he's there at the point where they can still get a lot for Giannis, or they can just run it out, and he can only play for $1, and he delivered a championship. He delivered on all of the promise. The example of that is kind of what the Celtics did. The opposite of what the Lakers did is what the Celtics did with Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, which was sent them to Brooklyn. And it changed their franchise from a positive standpoint. Probably pissed some people off that you traded those guys to Brooklyn, but you netted your future in return, and that's the decision that is so tricky for teams like the Bucks to make right now. I would go for option B versus option A, but I'm not a Bucks fan, and I don't know what that relationship to Giannis means with Milwaukee. My guess is it's critical.
I think this is a thing, and of course you would want to get this done by the draft because that's probably the best way to get assets and move forward with your team. I think the thing that's a major thing here, though, is him at the end saying our relationship with Giannis is fine despite whatever ESPN reports.
Yeah.
People whose relationship is fine, you don't have to tell us about it. And when you just throw that in there on your own, I don't think that relationship is good at all. When you're just volunteering that information.
I think sometimes, antennas are up where they don't need to be, maybe. I don't know. It feels like Giannis, if he would have demanded a trade and was willing to be the villain, he could have done so at the trade deadline, and they would have had to trade him. He didn't, and so I guess we'll see where all of these things kind of finally lay out. We'll open up that mailbag coming up next. Final hour on a Thursday. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We've been your Jackets flagship station since day one. All the goals, all the action, all the memories. Your home for the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Thousands of students every year choose Columbus State Community College, earning degrees that open doors to in-demand jobs, stable careers, and real earning power. Columbus State is making Central Ohio stronger. Apply today at cscc.edu.
Mother's Day is Sunday, May 10th, that very special day that you can tell Mom just how significant her love has been. And what says love and appreciation more than a colorful, flowering Mother's Day gift from Oakland Nursery? She'll love a beautiful hanging basket just bursting with flowering color. Or shop Central Ohio's largest selection of hand-potted roses in a myriad of colors. Or lovely annuals for the garden. Mother's Day is Sunday, May 10th. Get something extra special this year from Oakland. For 86 years, moms have loved gifts from Oakland Nursery.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Hey, it's Anthony Rothman. Get up to $750 cash back when you refinance your auto loan with Tel-Ohio Credit Union. Visit telhio.org to learn more.
Offer valid until June 30th, subject to credit approval. Restrictions apply. Tel-Ohio is open to all in central and southwestern Ohio. Federally insured by NCUA.
Some choose the fast way, others the easy way. But you do things the right way, like Exmark Mowers and Voss Brothers Power Equipment. Exmark builds the world's finest zero-turn mowers, providing a legendary quality of cut, dependability, along with an experience that makes mowing feel like anything but work. Because if it's worth doing right. Stop by one of Voss Brothers' 3 convenient locations in Powell, Sunbury, or Marysville and discover the Exmark mower that will give your lawn the cut it deserves. Voss Brothers Power Equipment, delivering enjoyment in mowing since 1989.
Feeling stressed or overwhelmed? Not sure how to get the mental health help you need? We've got your back. Call the Mental Health Insurance Assistance Office at 855-438-6442. We'll help you figure out what mental health benefits may be in your health plan. No more confusion, just the support you deserve. Call the Mental Health Insurance Assistance Office at 855-438-6442.
This spring, celebrate the sparkle that she brings to your life with something that sparkles right back. Whether it's for Mother's Day, an anniversary, or just because, Diamond Cellar has the perfect gift for the women who mean the world to you. Visit Diamond Cellar today on Selma Road and at Easton Town Center.
No way, gas prices shot up again.
I know, but I got us covered.
So generous. What's your deal?
What's my deal? I went to Metro and saved. Got 4 lines for just $25 each and 4 free new Samsung Galaxy A17 5G phones and all on the T-Mobile network.
How about we go to Metro today?
Get that more for your money feeling. Visit your Metro by T-Mobile store. Just bring your numbers. Net available if you've been with Metro or T-Mobile in the past 180 days.
Common Man and Kimmy. Voted America's dumbest show by Marconi voters. Common Man is a Columbus radio legend. And by legend, I mean it's a miracle he hasn't been fired yet. And Timmy is, well, Timmy will complain about anything and everything. And he kind of looks like a woman. Giggity, giggity, giggity. So there's that. Common Man and Timmy.
Sponsored by Hinderer Motor Company.
Weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 on The Fan.
Spring is in the air, and Alev's long-lasting pain relief is here to keep you moving. The days are longer and the flowers are blooming. Whether it's gardening, yard work, or just spending more time outdoors, spring is a way of getting us moving despite any body pain. That's where Aleve can keep you going. With just one dose, Aleve gives you long-lasting body pain relief for up to 12 hours. From sunup to sundown, Aleve's got your back. Try Aleve. Use as directed for minor aches and pains.
Progressive knows that boat days can come with unexpected problems.
Oh no, I dropped my lip balm in the water. I can't think of anything worse than the looming threat of potentially having chapped lips. It was ginger vanilla too, my favorite flavor.
If a real problem comes along, your boat's protected 24/7 with Progressive, so you can keep worrying about boater problems. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in D.C.
Hey, it's Austin Ward. Listen to The Beat with Austin and Byrne, now powered by the Waterworks and Header Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Get the latest Buckeye news, insights, and unbeatable analysis every day. Don't miss a moment. Stream The Beat with Austin and Byrne, sponsored by the Waterworks and Header Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios, driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good morning, I'm Eric Reeser. Day baseball for the Reds and Guardians. Cincinnati looks to avoid the 4-game series sweep against the Chicago Cubs. Thursday's first pitch at Wrigley is 2:20. Redlegs also look to halt a 6-game slide. They'll host the Astros on Friday. As for the Guardians, Cleveland looks to split a 4-game set in Kansas City. First pitch from Kauffman Stadium's 2:10. Cleveland beat KC last night 3-1. Guardians will host the Twins on Friday. In the NBA tonight, the Pistons host the Cavs in Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Semis. Detroit leads 1-0. Tip-offs at 7. Cleveland's going to host Game 3 Saturday. The NCAA is expected to announce the men's and women's tournaments are getting expanded sometime today. The big dance is going to go from 68 to 76 teams next March. In the NFL, rookies for the Browns and Bengals report for rookie minicamp on Friday. The league is expected to announce the full 2026 schedule during the week of May 18th. This update is sponsored by RCDRV Supercenter in Heath, Delaware, and Pataskala, or online at rcdrv.com.
They've all been paid by the Cleveland Browns. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, we'll open up the full mailbag in a second, but I am just seeing this. So Notre Dame released their schedule with television times. So I went to state school, not the smartest, not the sharpest knife, but I can do some deductive reasoning. We were looking at the Ohio State 2026 schedule and said, okay, is there a chance that we can have a big night game? Is there any chance that there's one out there? And the big night game that I circled was Oregon, November 7th. You got a chance. Maybe you got a chance. That chance is gone.
Kick
now
to the groin.
Because Notre Dame is going to play Miami on NBC at 7:30 on November 7th. So Oregon's either going to be big noon or 3:30 is the reality of that.
Yeah.
It's a bowl of suck.
Just speak it into existence.
Man, that sucks.
And, I mean, it does suck because it's
the only one.
Finale, it's final now that you know that, but with that game being here at the Shoe, I kind of always figured it was big noon anyway, because Fox isn't going to let that go.
I was hopeful that maybe Fox, I know Fox gets the first 3 picks. I was hopeful, praying that perhaps they would take Michigan versus somebody. Doesn't Michigan play? Isn't there something that Michigan can play?
There's an Oklahoma game that'll be, I think,
it's in Ann Arbor.
In Ann Arbor, so
yeah, but obviously Ohio State, Oregon is going to be big noon. So every big game you play at home, the only chances you have for like a primetime game with any sort of juice to it, and this has taken a lot of stretching on my part, is Illinois.
Yeah, maybe Illinois.
That's your only chance, September 26th.
Because they're not going to do Nebraska the week before the Michigan game at night.
Well, it's at Lincoln,
Nebraska.
so
Yeah.
you don't get that anyway. Your home games of note are Michigan, Oregon. Those are the two biggies, and both of those games are going to. Now USC will probably be at night on the 31st, but that'll be out there.
Yeah.
So you don't ever get night premium atmosphere. That's just that's your lot in life if you're a Buckeye fan. You're going to play at noon every big game for the rest of your lives.
You're going to get Texas at night. I know
not
it's
here,
not here.
Bake.
I know it's
I don't
not
know if
here.
you know this.
I get that.
That game's in Austin this year,
I
Bake.
booked my flight, remember? I know.
So Penn State's unrivaled, not on the schedule this season. I guess you're rooting for the Nittany Lions in this instance. Because they're the only one that can raise the chances of Ohio State hosting out of Big Noon if they can get it together this next season.
Them and Michigan.
I can't root for Michigan.
I know. Those are the only two because all the West Coast schools can't play at noon. So
I think this is something we've just, I know we talk about it, and it does not bother me like it does some. Like Texas last year, yes, that should have been night. But other than that, I don't mind the noon games. I think it's something we've just got to resign ourselves to, and it's the way it is.
And the thing that's, and you're right, you're absolutely right. But just the annoying part about all of this is it feels like a stretch from mid-September to mid-October are just all going to be big nooners. Like Kent State, Illinois, Iowa, Maryland, probably Indiana. Like that's
one of those will be at night.
Maybe, hopefully.
But what I think is crazy is what this tells me is that Fox took as their top three picks, if we understand the process correctly, as their top three picks, because we know Indiana's big noon. So they took Indiana, Oregon, and Michigan all against Ohio State as their top three picks. That's my read of it.
And we're not complaining about the idea they're going to be on Fox, but just one of those deserves to be a night game. All three of them should. Well, two of the three.
Well, one here should be, you should have one big night game a year. And if you think that this is just me complaining about it, go look at the hoops they tried to jump through to get Texas at night last year. They're going to play Sunday night. So they want it too. And it sucks. Part of it really sucks. All right, let's open up that mailbag.
Our comment box is always open. Any feedback is mostly appreciated.
The mail never stops. It just keeps coming and coming and coming. There's never a let up. It's relentless. Every day it piles up more and more and more. And you got to get it up. And the more you get out, the more it keeps coming in. Again.
Bishop and Friends present emails.
Boy, got this one from Robert here in the last 36 minutes or so. While I agree with your idea that you need to find similar amounts of money in smaller playoff than a 24-team alternative, I'm not sure it's possible. When I went to a church dating thing, the speaker, which is funny, by the way, the speaker said, maybe just the way he phrased it, the speaker said, more money doesn't solve more problems. That's not true for some people. You can only cut food, rent, and transit so far. The underlying idea seemed reasonable, that unbridled desires can't be satiated with more money, but only bridled. People running universities' athletic programs want more and more and more money to do what they want for themselves and to expand their fiefdoms and don't necessarily care where it comes from, but they should. College football and probably universities in general need to reckon with what its mission is. What does it do? If it's there to make money, then people running it need to understand where that money comes from and why they get it. Sacrificing what makes it meaningful to people to make more money is likely to lead to less money in the future. Treating it like the business they claim it is not sustainable. Well written. Very good job. Go look at tuition costs, by the way, the last decade.
And we say
I got
this,
buddies paying $60,000 for their kids to go to Auburn. Good Lord.
we say this, but and I've talked about this a couple times. Like, what is the line where people stop caring about your product? Where is it too much? Where do you go overboard? And the fact of the matter is, we're not there yet, and I'm not sure we're close because they're making money hand over fist.
Yeah, I don't think we're close. This dovetails into it. This one from Chris. Happy Mailbag Thursday. I want to chime in about something Baker said recently. He referred to Johnny Paycheck as a made-up fan who's always being asked to contribute money to Ohio State programs as if that name never belonged to a real person. Well, I get the point Baker was making. I have to say, Johnny Paycheck was very much real. As for supporting Ohio State, my personal NIL deal is already covered. I pay for Peacock, ESPN, and YouTube TV just to watch the Buckeyes play. I don't think I should be expected to chip in even more, though. Some Netflix-style NIL model. They've got my TV dollars. So this is a point you make all the time, Bake. Now, about Johnny Paycheck, the real person, he actually wrote a song called F. Chillicothe because he spent some time in prison there.
Oh.
Grew up 14 miles from Bainbridge in Greenfield, Ohio, which, by the way, Baker should know given his roof mowing connections. Johnny Paycheck is best known for writing the classic Take This Job and Shove It. I know that song very well. My dad used to sing that a lot when I was young, among other hits. Sadly, he's no longer with us, so I don't think Ohio State or anyone else is asking him for donations. I always was taught not to point out a real problem without offering a solution, so maybe Baker could use the term Johnny Ohio State fan or Johnny Buckeye instead of using Johnny Paycheck because it is already spoken for. Did you know that? That there was a Bainbridge connection?
I didn't know the Bainbridge connection. I did know that there actually was a Johnny Paycheck, and I do know Greenfield well. I always drove through it to go to my uncle's house.
Pretty great. You know that song, don't you, Reese? Take This Job and Shove It.
No, I only know the phrase.
Oh, you don't know the song?
I do not.
You know it, Bake?
Yeah, I do.
I've also only when Bake said it the other day had I'd heard the phrase Johnny Paycheck.
Yeah.
There's Johnny all the other things. Johnny come lately, but Johnny Paycheck, that was foreign to me.
Yeah. This one from Jeff. High school football is going portaling. I opened the Canton Repository online, I'm not that old, and saw a headline, Feaster Brothers transfer adds more firepower to Massillon football. He writes, according to the article, Brayton and Bryden Feaster, both from Hoban, were two most recruited players in the state of Ohio this year. I had to do a double take after that sentence to make sure we were talking about high school kids here. The two most recruited players? We were talking about 15, 16-year-old kids here. Well, in the case of these two, you're not, but that's a digression for me. Does the OHSAA need to create its own transfer portal? This is getting ridiculous. I'm a McKinley fan for life. I know Massillon is always recruited. I think this will become even more common now that NIL is legal for high school students in Ohio. Maybe kids will be able to afford their dream car before they even step on campus. I will say these kids are ridiculous. Bake can probably share as well. So he goes into some of the accomplishments of the two, and there's been quite a bit of controversy around these two kids, especially with the state wrestling tournament as well. That's not for me to get into at this point. I would tell you that here we are pretty immune to it in Central Ohio. Central Ohio, from my vantage point, does not have the recruiting. It's not close from a recruiting standpoint the way that it is in Northeast Ohio or even in the Cincinnati and Dayton areas. It's just not. Here, you grow up in a town, and for the most part, you stay in that town, you go to that school, and that's why the suburban programs here are so elite across the board, because their kids aren't being pulled to other places the way they are in other parts of the state. So do I think there will be a portal for high school athletics? This is going to be something the OHSAA is going to have to tackle in a big way. Bake, you're as close to this as anybody in terms of the OHSAA and their thoughts on all of this.
So they still have their transfer rules in place where if you transfer to a school for no reason other than athletics, that you sit out the second half of the season and the postseason. Now, it's not as big in Columbus, Bo, because the schools in Cleveland and Cincinnati, some of those bigger schools, a lot of them are still all boy or all girl schools, and that's a different curriculum. And if you want your kid to go to a school for a certain curriculum, that's a different ball game. And like St. Charles in town is an all boys school, but the other Catholic schools in town, they're not that. So they have feeder schools now. They're still recruiting things, and and Massillon's a big one because Massillon's open enrollment.
They are.
So, and I think the Westerville schools here are open enrollment. Buckeye Valley is open enrollment. I don't know about any others. These Feaster kids, though, are a whole different ball game, Bo. And the older one is being recruited by everyone out there as a linebacker. And the younger one is a two-time state wrestling champion already. And if you just go look at his Twitter picture, that's like not a normal high school kid right there. Like, you look at that's a chemically enhanced kid.
Yeah.
Whoa. And I don't want to I don't want to pick on a high school kid, but that's not normal.
I can't speak to any of that. I just think that I think the OHSAA is going to be very tricky for them to try to manage
Wasn't
all
it
of this.
Arlington that had to deal with it?
They did. Yeah.
Well,
and Massillon dealt with, when Massillon won the state championship, they had a quarterback from Copley who came down to do it. And my pushback to that has always been, well, if the private schools up there can do it, then why can't they? So what they have to do in a lot of instances, even with open enrollment, is you have to show residence in the town. And I think, Bacon, you could correct me if I'm wrong on this, I think if you go private to public, you don't have to sit out at all. I think if you go public to private, you have to sit out 6 months or whatever, once you're in high school. But if you go, you could go from a private school to a public school and go right away into playing if you live in the district. I'm pretty sure that's right.
And I don't know if that's the case, though, with like Lakewood St. Ed's and Cincinnati Moeller and those, because they're all boys' schools.
You can you can go straight to there out of high school, like right in. But when you come out of there, you have to sit. And you might be right on the all boys school thing, where like if you're quote looking for a different educational experience, then you get a waiver on that. But it's all just shades of gray, and it's an utter mess. We'll continue with the mailbag coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
Winners of the prestigious Platinum Microphone Award every year, given to the best radio station in the world. No need to look it up. It's real. The Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Tired of snoring? Sleep Better Columbus can help with a custom mouthpiece that opens your airway and stops the snoring. No mask, no noise. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or visit sleepbettercolumbus.com today. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
Our veterans put everything on the line to defend our nation. So when they need help, Congressman Mike Carey fights for our veterans. Because as a veteran himself, Mike Carey understands their service must be honored.
My name is Thomas Rand, and I put my life on the line serving our nation in Vietnam. But when I needed help with an outstanding disability claim, the VA wasn't there for me. But Congressman Mike Carey had my back. Because of his hard work, my claim was approved, and I got the help I needed. I'm thankful for Congressman Carey. He cares about our veterans.
Mike Carey will always fight to help our nation's heroes. If you're a veteran who needs help navigating government services, programs, and grants, call Congressman Mike Carey's office at 614-927-6902 or visit carey.house.gov. Paid for with official funds from the office of Mike Carey.
James Laurinaitis here for my guys at Green & Sons, the premier Kubota dealership in Central Ohio. Green & Sons has all the Kubotas you need to tackle your land and come out a winner. They have zero-turn, skid steers, tractors from 18 to 171 horsepower, and also utility vehicles. My favorite is my RTV Sidekick. The best thing about Green & Sons is they've been family-owned and operated since 1970, and you will love dealing with the Green family and their winning team. Do what I did and check out Green & Sons located in Mount Sterling and Marysville or online at greenandsons.com for all your Kubota needs.
Newman Roofing, as part of their 2026 Commitment to Community initiative, is proud to partner with 10TV and The Fan to relaunch Raise the Roof, honoring local heroes going above and beyond. We are calling on you to help us recognize the volunteers, educators, first responders, and everyday difference makers who are making a meaningful impact in your community to be recognized on 10TV and The Fan. Send in your nominations and stories to 10tv.com/raisetheroof. 10tv.com/raisetheroof. Nominate a local hero today and help us raise the roof for those who make a difference.
Give me a mountain with lots to do. Give me the sunshine, give me a dew. Give me something simple and true. All I need is sunshine and a cool, refreshing mountain dew. So give me my goodness, give me a dew.
Grab some friends and an ice-cold Mountain Dew today.
Mountain Dew.
Have you ever met a man who wins money betting on tennis? Enter Scotty Vegas. Join Scotty and Dave Biddle for On the Money.
Presented by Ohio for Responsible Gambling.
Sunday mornings at 9 on The Fan.
Hey, it's T-Bone again. Sleep apnea doesn't have to rule your nights. Sleep Better Columbus has been treating snoring and sleep apnea for over 15 years with proven results and now has an office open in Marysville. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or go to sleepbettercolumbus.com. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
As speech pathologists, it's our privilege to help students develop their communication skills. However, the increased caseloads and responsibilities began to negatively impact the student's experience. With the help of my association, I was able to communicate these concerns to our district leaders, which directly led to the hiring of more speech pathologists to serve our kids. Now they're benefiting from smaller group sizes and are able to reach their goals quicker. My name is Morgan Gomez, and I'm a proud member of the Springboro Education Association because strong unions make strong public schools for our students.
Feeling stressed or overwhelmed? Not sure how to get the mental health help you need? We've got your back. Call the Mental Health Insurance Assistance Office at 855-438-6442. We'll help you figure out what mental health benefits may be in your health plan. No more confusion, just the support you deserve. Call the Mental Health Insurance Assistance Office at 855-438-6442.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Mostly increasing clouds throughout the day today as temperatures struggle to get into the mid to upper 50s to low 60s with gusty winds. For tonight, increasing clouds overnight with our lows in the 40s. And then for Friday, we do have a chance of showers on and off throughout the day. Otherwise, mostly cloudy and warmer with highs in the mid to upper 60s. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
All the Ohio State conversation you can handle. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
Your Ohio State flagship station. The Fan. Sports conversation that's worthy of a toast, or at least a stiff drink. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, back into that mailbag we go. This one from Robert. This in regards to the private capital that the Big 12 is getting. Yeah, I have two thoughts on the private capital deal noted in Thing or Not a Thing the other day. Does the presence of Weatherby Capital imply that a Big 12 could be a destination for Florida State when they get out of the ACC? Is that useful for them or the Big 12? So the reason that he's bringing this up is he knows college football a little bit, and Weatherby Capital, Drew Weatherford is a part of that. And he has been a big advocate of Florida State trying to get to the Big Ten, or I shouldn't say that. He's been a big advocate of getting Florida State out of the ACC, and he's a part of this Weatherby Capital. They're named for him. To answer your question, no, I don't. I don't think that Florida State wants to be in the Big 12 in any way. I think Florida State believes it's going to be in the Big Ten, is what I think they believe. Now, you can choose to believe that if you want, but I think that that's what they believe. Secondly, he writes, while getting money from venture capital funds certainly requires input by the funds in the Big 12's affairs, as for NIL, the contract obligations are the key. If you don't own anything, then your ability to control the Big 12 is likely significantly less than if you do own something. I think the Big Ten, I'll be very curious what the Big Ten does in 2030 in terms of if they take on more teams, because... And then what does that look? And the only way you take on more teams is if they increase your financial windfall. So when you start to play that game, then you get into by 2030, and I was just down there, the facilities are stunning, but like if you're not winning, does anybody care about Florida State football? If you're not winning, does anybody care about Clemson? The two that to me that have always made the most sense, the one that I think would surprise people that the Big Ten would be most interested in historically are Virginia and North Carolina. And those are not exactly football powerhouses in any way, shape, or form. But those are the two that the Big Ten has always coveted. If you're just doing it from a football perspective, then I think you'd probably want Florida State and Miami would probably be the two that you would want there.
You would be huge if we're still doing the television market thing.
Yeah. Well, and you also are the interest, right? And a lot of people do watch Florida State more than, certainly a lot of the teams in our league. But this thing's getting pretty silly, too.
Is there a chance that you add Florida State and Miami? Can you then... Does the Big 12 want schools? There's a fresh Maryland and Rutgers ready. You get the New York market.
It's a great question. Do you start kicking teams out?
Love to, but I don't know contractually.
I don't know. It's very, very difficult to say. Go ahead, Vic.
I was just going to say it is funny that he asked that question because I thought that too with Weatherby and the connection. Like, is this Florida State's way of getting out of the ACC and into a different conference?
I mean, but I think the Big 12 would love to have Florida State. They would love to. So I don't know that. I guess that's the thing I don't understand is, I guess it just gets them in the door with college football. Maybe that's what the idea is. This one from Nate. The subject is "Give me back my son." Bo, last month the man yelling "Give me back my son" during Rory McIlroy's tee shot at the Masters went viral. And this evening I was drinking my 7th Keystone Light. It's basically me in my sophomore year of college. I thought I could use a chuckle and wanted to watch that video again. So I went to YouTube, and it's virtually impossible to find any video of it. Even when searching through Bing, no video of it came up, besides little news clips talking about it. Do you think Augusta actually went out of their way to scrub the internet of this video? If you're going to... Yes. 100%. I'll answer that one. 100% yes.
You also might be searching the wrong thing if he's using Bing.
Well, I think what he's saying is he's not surprised that it wasn't on Google, so he went to like another search engine.
Ask Jeeves?
Yeah. Yeah. Something other than Google. Zenny goes, if you were to shout a movie quote out during a tee shot at the Masters, what would it be?
I'm yelling, get to the chopper.
The painting is a gift is always pretty funny to me. I watched a little of that last night. I laughed so damn hard at the time when... So Jeremy goes down with the second hit from sack after the second sack lunch. And the dad, played by Walken, looks at Todd and goes, Todd, wouldn't do you too bad to play some real sports? And then Todd goes, would that make you love me, Dad? What's his name? Walken goes, jeez, which is a great response to it. Walken's pretty great at it. He's pretty good.
How about a little Happy Gilmore? Price is wrong, Bob. He should have been standing there.
For the longest time, a lot of people did the Baba Booey from Howard Stern. I mean, that went on for like 10 years. You'd get the Baba Booies.
I mean, that's past my age. Like, I get it because I'm a radio historian. I enjoy going back and watching old clips, but Baba
You
Booey,
remember that, though. That's in the last... But that used to happen a lot. That would happen at the Memorial. There was probably 4 or 5 years ago, every tournament you'd get a Baba Booey still. And that went on for like a decade.
I think this is a good one.
Go ahead.
Tummy likey. Tummy want wingy.
That works. Tommy Likey. That's pretty good. This one from our buddy, American Airlines pilot Captain Petey, who writes, for those that were confused or didn't fully understand Andrew Barry's sterile cockpit comment, in the aviation community, communication is limited to flying and safety during heavy workloads. This is known as a sterile cockpit. Anytime you fly commercially, you see the seatbelt sign turn off and then immediately illuminate. You'll hear 2 chimes. That is the cockpit crew's signal to the cabin crew that we are either leaving or entering the sterile cockpit. So AB must use the term to clearly identify to the war room that conversations are limited to draft operations during heavy workloads on draft day. Pilots talk about family, sports, house projects, cars, at cruise, but not in a sterile environment. You know what's so interesting about that is a sterile environment to me without that explanation, and thank you, sir, and thank you for all that you do, but to me, what I would think of sterile environment, I would think that it is easy. Not that isn't as opposed to high stress or where we really have to pay attention. But what it means is I need it quiet now. We're in a sterile cockpit situation. So that's what it means. That's a good differentiator. I would have, in my head, I had it opposite. This is a beautiful one. Daniel writes, help, Montana's boy's name needed. So you guys remember this. We had passed along some possible names that... From the Ponderosa, he had an upcoming granddaughter that was to be born, a grandson that was to be born, and so he sent us a picture of the son. They had it yesterday. They were healthy, happy. Everyone's doing great. Unfortunately, they did not pick any of the names that we went with, but they ended up with Clayton James. And then he writes parenthetically, Clay Matthews was a solid player for the Browns for a long time. He was more than solid. Clay is pretty solid as well. I'm just going to, first of all, congratulations, Dan, in the biggest possible way. Congratulations to you and your daughter and son-in-law, and we welcome Clayton James into the world. Go crush it, kid. I'll be curious if he's going to be a Rustler or a Bison. Those would be the 2 high schools in Great Falls, Montana. That the Rustlers are pretty cool. That's CMR Rustlers. They got a pretty damn cool logo. Pretty tough to beat. Really good at football. But that'll be interesting to see where all of that shakes. And I'm just going to choose that you named him after Clay Hall because Clay's the man. So that's how we're going to do that.
Clay likes wearing cowboy hats.
He does. Cowboy boots. He'd fit in nicely there. The supplemental draft and what to do with the Texas Tech quarterback. We get to that coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
Hi, I'm Patty, founder of Awesome Tex. I started with a big idea to give old clothes a new life by turning them into recycled fibers and threads. Everyone told me that this was going to be impossible, but Chase for Business believed in me. They gave me a lot of guidance from the beginning.
Get financial guidance from bankers in the Columbus community and convenient digital tools all in one place.
Learn more at chaseforbusiness.com. Make more of what's yours. Real customers compensated. JP Morgan Chase Bank, and a member FDIC.
There are many reasons to hire Morgan & Morgan for your injury case. Here's reason 17. In today's new world, many law firms have had money injected into their firms by Wall Street, private equity, and other lenders. This money usually comes in at very, very high interest rates. It's one of the reasons you see so many lawyers advertising. I'm John Morgan. This money is expensive and the interest compounds quickly. These law firms can have a huge need for cash just to pay that debt. Why does it matter to you? My fear is your case is settled early and for far less than it's worth, just to service the loan that has mafia-like rates. Our financial strength is your advantage. That plus our reputation makes our firm your firm. Visit forthepeople.com to see our results and verdicts. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Morgan & Morgan, Ohio office located at 600 Vine Street, Cincinnati. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Got this. Breathe. You got this. You got it.
In the moments that truly matter, what do? Rise to the occasion. Ohio Health. It's time.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
The uncle you never knew you had. The friends you kind of wish you didn't. This is Bishop and Friends.
It's been one of the... I think it's going to end up being one of the more consequential developments in this whole NIL portal world that we're currently in college football, and that is the story of Brendan Sorsby, the Texas Tech quarterback who was at Cincinnati, who has been pinched for betting on college sports, and reports out I saw from Dan Wetzel this morning that he definitely had an incredible gambling addiction, but it's a bunch of small bets over in Indiana and Ohio, and it's, of course, all this stuff is trackable, and so there's a lot going on here. I've said I think there is no chance that he ever plays college football again. I think there's a slim to no chance that the NFL would want to dig in on this because of how seriously. If I were to, I think I can say this pretty emphatically. I think the biggest non-negotiable, you do this and we have no tolerance in all of the things that bug the NFL, it's this. It's the gambling. It's not the domestic violence. It's not any sort of criminal activity. You can get back from all of that stuff relatively quickly. This, they have almost no patience for. None. So to me, I don't see it. Now, a lot of talking has been done in the last couple of weeks about this, and especially this week it really heightened in regard to the supplemental draft, because a lot of people think that's the best chance that he has to play football next year or even in the next couple of years is if he were to go to the supplemental draft. Todd McShay, who makes his living talking about the draft, weighed in on Brendan Sorsby.
If I'm the Browns, if we have the quarterback coach and we have the contract the right way, we have the psychologist putting a stamp on it, if we can get aligned, I think this guy's worth it. And if that's the case, I get to draft him, and I'm doing it with a first-round pick in whether it's late June or July, whenever this supplemental draft happens, if it happens. And I'm doing that because I think he's got a chance to be special.
Do you know when the last time...
That would mean the Browns would not have a first-round pick in the 2027 draft.
That's right. It's a pretty silly. It's a silly thing to say out loud.
If he had said third or fourth round pick,
sure. Reese, and to your point, do you know the last time an NFL team gave up a first-round pick in the supplemental draft?
No.
It's in the 80s, isn't it?
Browns?
Early 80s?
It's 1992.
Okay.
It's the New York Giants, and Dave Brown, the quarterback from Duke, was the last time that a first-round pick was used in the supplemental draft. The last time that a second-round pick was used in the supplemental draft was indeed the Cleveland Browns, and it was Josh Gordon in 2012. The supplemental draft hasn't even happened since 2019. It used to be a pretty regular occurrence. Among the folks who were in the supplemental draft, most famously Bernie Kosar, Brian Bosworth was in the supplemental draft. Chris Carter was a 4th-round pick in the supplemental draft. It used to be pretty regular. It's not anymore. You never see it. I couldn't disagree more with Todd, not on the analysis of Brendan Sorsby because he's watched all the tape. I haven't. I'm not watching all the tape on Brendan Sorsby. But the idea that an NFL team would give up a first-round pick in what most people say is the most loaded NFL draft in 4 or 5 years on a quarterback with this many red flags is nuts. Nuts. And there's zero chance an NFL team would do that. I don't even know if they would give up a second. 3rd, 4th, maybe at best, if you love the tape. But there's no way that they're going to get into business with somebody with this type of past. Urban had some thoughts on this as well on his podcast. Let's have a listen.
I really feel for this kid, man. To throw temptation at a 19, 20-year-old that now has money in his pocket, by the way, a lot of money. Yeah, it's certainly his fault, and he's going to pay a hell of a price, and so is that coach and team and a fan base at Texas Tech because he's a hell of a player. But I guess my appeal is like, what are you doing?
Money.
You idiots make that stuff legal?
Money.
And do you get in trouble for saying you idiots? I don't care. You're an idiot if you made gambling legal for young people. I'd love to meet the politicians, and I'm at the point in my life where I don't give a I can say what I want. What are you thinking?
Money.
You dumb. Don't put that. What are you doing?
Big money.
I know people in the FBI, and they say the young people, it's 10,000% or some number that is hard to comprehend of young people under 21, under 18 years old that are addicted to gambling now. And whoever made these decisions to legalize gambling for young people, shame on you.
Get them.
Well, they didn't. They didn't. It's not. You got to be 21. So they didn't. Now, if you want to say so he's not only is Sorsby doing something that you can't do in the NCAA, he was doing it illegally. He's not 21 and he's gambling online. So it's not legal for 16-year-olds to gamble. That's the responsibility of the parents to make sure they're not. Actually parent your child. Your responsibility. Once that child turns 18, if they want to do things illegally, to me, that's their responsibility. That's the child's responsibility at that point. So I love Urban's passion behind it. And yeah, this is all crazy, but it's a little misguided from the standpoint of you have to be 21 to bet on sports.
Herbs is way off base here on this to me for a couple reasons. One, as you mentioned, Bo, you can't. It's 21 to sign up for one of these. So he had to have a parent or someone else sign him up with an app to be doing this when he was a freshman at Indiana. Also, didn't it used to be in the world, and I know things change, and when you were 14, 15, 16, you were doing grown-up things. You were out working manually, doing hard labor. You're 18, you can sign up and go to the military. Mm-hmm. When is personal accountability something that we bring back in this world? There's probably a lot of kids that age that could do it and be fine, but he did it illegally.
Yes.
And nobody's making him do it.
No.
We can give him $5.5 million.
Right.
He should be personally accountable for some things.
I do think a constructive conversation about how easy it is to gamble on sports can be had to where he clearly accessed these whatever sites he used and was able to gamble and spend, and place a lot of bets as underage. And so I do look to, those sites that allow you to gamble and that don't do maybe not a good enough job on actually looking out for who's using their services. And there's no incentive for them to, obviously. But I think, maybe what could be done with this is a more hardened approach at making sure that kids can't get access to gambling like that. But easier said than done, and you've got to make the incentive for those companies there.
What can you do
just tell
if
you
your
how
parents do it for you?
No, I understand.
Yeah, and that's the big thing is parents passing the buck. It's just easier to parent a child if you say go if you just let them be on a phone. You don't have to actually parent. You hand a kid a phone, and he's not a little kid, he's a 19-year-old kid. You hand a 12-year-old a phone, you don't have to parent them. They're not asking you for anything. It entertains for hours if you choose. Dan Wetzel with this on Sorsby, and this is what I was referring to. According to ESPN reporting, Sorsby had accounts with sports books and daily fantasy operators in several states, according to multiple sources, who described him as a high-volume, low-stakes bettor. Some of his bets were placed using an account under a different name, multiple sources said. I can just tell you how easy, and I don't have any idea if this is how easy it is on the gambling thing, but this is how easy it is for, like, my kid to get an Instagram account, which he got, I think you have to be 13 to have an Instagram account. He did it on his own. I caught him, and then we shut it down. But he did it when he was 12, and all he did was lie on the birth date in the sign-up. They're not asking for a second form of identification. Now, I don't know if it's different with gambling sites. If they need, like,
probably not,
passport scan or driver's license scan or some sort of physical piece of thing saying what your age is. I don't know that. But that's how it is he just lied on the Instagram thing, and away we went. And then I'm like, wait, what? You're not supposed to have this. We got rid of it until he got of age, and fine. But that's the thing that's really tricky on this. I think Todd McShay is way off on this.
But he's 100% right in that it's polarizing.
Yeah. And he wins in this because we're talking about all of it. But there's the idea that any NFL team would give a first-round pickup for someone with these type of red flags, let alone, and by the way, in all of these mock drafts that we've been talking about, the way too early mock drafts we talked about 2 weeks ago, nobody had this kid being drafted in the top 15. Nobody. And now he's making the Browns, who a lot of people think are not going to be very successful this year. He's going to have them give up like what essentially would be, most people think will be a top 10 pick for a kid with these type of red flags. No. I don't think that you will see that at all. We'll get to three things on a Thursday up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
There's a new kind of energy at Starbucks. Try the all-new energy refreshers. Strawberry acai, mango dragon fruit, or the all-new mango strawberry. New energy refreshers only at Starbucks.
Common Man and Timmy. Voted America's dumbest show by Marconi voters. Common Man is a Columbus radio legend. And by legend, I mean it's a miracle he hasn't been fired yet. And Timmy is, well, Timmy will complain about anything and everything. And he kind of looks like a woman. Giggity, giggity, giggity. So there's that. Common Man and Timmy.
Sponsored by Hinderer Motor Company.
Weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 on The Fan.
Hey, it's Austin Ward. Listen to The Beat with Austin and Byrne, now powered by the Waterworks and Header Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Get the latest Buckeye news, insights, and unbeatable analysis every day. Don't miss a moment. Stream The Beat with Austin and Byrne, sponsored by the Waterworks and Header Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Thinking about buying your first home? Now, with Third Federal, you can buy your first home and pay no PMI. Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. Private mortgage insurance, or PMI, can cost thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. And you may not realize PMI doesn't protect you. It only protects the lender in case of default. But at Third Federal, you can buy a home with just 5% down and no PMI. Plus, first-time home buyers get $750 off of closing costs. So if you're thinking about buying your first home, go for it and visit thirdfederal.com.
Even before you find a home, lock in 6.09% APR, 6.12% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3rd-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. See conditions for closing cost coupon at thirdfederal.com/FTHB. Equal housing lender.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Bring your landscape back to life with an unbeatable deal from Ohio Mulch. 5 bags of premium mulch for just $10. You choose from absolute black, brown, or red to make your flowers pop and your curb appeal shine. Visit ohiomulch.com to find a location near you.
Relax and let Kroger Delivery handle your grocery shopping this week. We start with only the freshest items. Then carefully pack your order in our refrigerated trucks. And our cool trucks keep your food fresh right to your door. Fresh groceries your way with Kroger Delivery. And right now, you can save $20 on your first delivery order. Kroger, Fresh for everyone.
When you saw your heating bills this winter, did you think this is out of control? The problem is your house is leaking money, and the only thing higher than your heating bills are your cooling bills. Steve here from USA Insulation. Let us fix your energy bill problem for good. If you aren't foam insulated, you really aren't insulated. For $99 a month, interest-free, we'll foam your home and help cut those energy bills. 529-2440 or usainsulation.net.
USA Insulation. Cheetah Green with Skip Mosick.
Saturday, we'll chat with this year's Memorial Tournament honoree David Graham, plus local pros Ben Kern and Jared Jones, who both qualified for next week's PGA Championship.
Cheetah Green with Skip Mosick. Saturday mornings at 9 on The Fan.
The weather in Central Ohio just got better, so why shouldn't your loan rate? CME Federal Credit Union wants to try to beat your current loan rate by 2% on autos and toys. Plus, no payments for 90 days on car loans and 60 days on motorcycles, boats, and more. Go to CMEFCU.org today.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. Mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
It's 2026, the year you achieve your health goals. The Good Feet store wants to help. Trade in your bad feet for good feet. We want to help you walk, run, exercise, and play in comfort this year. Visit the Good Feet store on Polaris Parkway near the Polaris Mall or on Stringtown Road at Grove City.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Right Way Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
First Friday miracles are always better with Uncle Bo. This is Bishop and Friends.
Hi, Race, what on the poll today?
The Daily Fan Poll, sponsored by JT's Pizza and Pub. It asks, should the Cleveland Browns pick up Brendan Sorsby in the supplemental draft? 65% of respondents say no.
Yeah.
Is it a thing where how will they decide to have a supplemental draft or not?
Only if somebody's eligibility changes, and then they petition it. So this would be a case of it. This is how this would happen, is something would change. You used to be able to manipulate it. That's what Bernie did. He manipulated it. Bosworth tried to manipulate it. And now they've taken kind of some of those loopholes out of it. But, yeah, I mean, his circumstances of eligibility. I mean, we dealt with this with Pryor. Pryor's circumstances of eligibility changed after the draft. And so he was a supplemental draft pick. I believe a third rounder was TP. Second or third rounder. I can't remember. I can pull it up here quickly. He was a third rounder by the Raiders. But his circumstances changed. And so the same thing would happen here. You would have someone where the circumstances had changed. But to give up a first round pick, like the quarterback in college football right now that teams would give up, there are probably two that NFL teams would give up a number one pick in next year's draft for if their circumstances changed, are Arch Manning and probably Dante Moore. Those are probably the two that if something changed in their circumstances, the NFL teams would line up to give up a first round supplemental pick to be able to draft him. This kid, way too much that needs to be sorted out. Time for three things on a Thursday.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. For all your roofing, gutter, or siding needs, call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
All right, number one for me, I mentioned watched the Knicks Sixers last night when we got home from lacrosse, and then I had what I consider to be an example of the perfect flipping situation. So this is when you're done with your sport and you're looking for something to get you through for the next hour before bedtime. These are my circumstances. I'm done with the things that I'm caring about. Now I'm just looking to entertain me for an hour before I go to bed. And I went to the HBO tier, and by God, it was John Beckwith and Jeremy Ryan. And I flipped over at about 9:47, 9:48, and it's crab cakes and football. And it takes me all the way through The Painting Was a Gift. I've said it before. I'll say it again. It is about an hour of screen time that is comedic perfection. There's not a moment. And even the bike ride with Claire, all of that, it's only like 4 or 5 minutes. It all hits. It's one banger after another. Perfection. I was so thrilled last night to be able to land that perfect hour. It got me, the painting was a gift, it hit at 10:46. Perfect.
Seamus O'Toole, Bobby O'Shea. I'm ready to get drunk.
Perfect.
First thing out of me, some breaking news from Brett McMurphy of On3 Sports. Alabama will keep its 27-28 home-and-home series with Ohio State.
Let's go.
Good job at everybody involved with that.
Still not sure I believe it.
They've canceled a series with Oklahoma State, the Crimson Tide have. So it's not, I guess, official until the boom meets the ball.
What do we have to do between now and when they come here to make sure that's a night game? Leave the Big Ten?
Yeah. Start selling off games a la carte.
Like suck?
Yeah.
Suck next year so nobody
goes
6-6?
I mean, they could. Ohio State could go to Fox and say, no, now we're going to sell these games. And Jeff Bezos would swoop in on his helicopter yacht and pay handsomely.
Did you see that? He made the yacht too big. Can't park it in Monaco, so he's selling it?
So he's selling it, yeah. Put it on eBay.
Who's the market on Amazon?
Oh, the yacht I can't park at Monaco? Oh, yeah, I'll buy that.
I'll buy that.
First thing for me. Now, obviously, I don't want answers to these questions because I don't want the spoilers. But we're season 2, episode 9. We're through that of Sopranos. Questions that I have right now, and 2 of these I've had since the very first episode.
All right. You don't want answers?
I don't want answers.
Okay. All right.
Because I'm going to find these out. These are just questions I have right now as I'm going through the journey of the show. When do Tony and his therapist hook up?
Okay.
The Ducks. How does that come full circle? How do the Ducks come full circle? The music guy that seemed to have an interest in Adriana, Chris's girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
He's gone right now. When does he come back, and does that become a thing between him and her? And then Tony's mom. What's the end with Tony's mom here? Because she is ridiculous how she is just playing everyone.
What happened in the last episode you watched?
Chris got shot.
Okay. All right. Oh, my God. That season 2 might be... It's on I mean, they're all great, but that might be my favorite.
I can't wait to see what happens with these 4 things.
Richie Aprile.
He's something else, too.
He's so daunting.
Tony,
he
saw the coat that he gave Tony on the housekeeper's husband. Oh, boy. All hell's going to break
Is someone
loose.
in Tony's crew wired for sound? Do we know that right at this point?
I don't know. I don't ever phrase it that way because I don't want to give anything away.
Yeah.
So I always, anytime I ask somebody who's watching something old, I always say, where are you now?
Well, I don't know if we can say his name on air, but he was on the toilet crying in the last episode.
Mr.
There's where
Bumpancero.
Yeah.
Mr. Bumpancero, yeah. Number 2 for me, so we're doing some remodeling in the basement and putting in some new carpeting and all of these things. So this is Buddy Garrity's domain. Him walking around on the new carpet is like when I put swim boots on him in the pool. He has no idea how to walk. Like, have you ever seen a dog, walk, trying to barely touch the ground? That's what he does when he touches the ground with this carpet. It is straight comedy. I'll have to try to video it. It is so funny to watch him walk on it.
Second thing for me, so you've got the NBA's draft lottery Sunday, which is also Mother's Day, at 3 o'clock. I saw a couple mocks from Bleacher Report over the last 2 days. One of them has it the Thunder winning the draft lottery and taking Debanza out of BYU. Another one I like has the Kings winning it. They also take the forward from BYU, the Brooklyn Nets, taking Darren Peterson with the 2nd overall pick.
Mm-hmm.
But at 10, going to the Golden State Warriors, Yaxel Lendenborg.
Mm-hmm.
I think if whoever Yaxel goes to, that's a steal.
Well, both, and think if it's them or Oklahoma City, think what they could get on a trade.
Oh, good Lord.
They don't even need young guys. Just give me a dude on a trade. Go ahead, Vic.
Second thing for me, congratulations to J.R. Smith, who is getting his degree from North Carolina A&T State, from NBA champion to golfer for North Carolina A&T State. Now he's got his degree. Congratulations, J.R.
Really cool. I'll be in Dublin all weekend for the Ohio State Middle School Lacrosse Championships. All week Saturday looked great. Now all of a sudden I pop in there, 72 and rain.
No, don't look at
rain that. All day Sunday. Suck.
Just don't look at it.
I guess.
Just be prepared for everything. But don't look at it until you actually reach your destination in Dublin. Real quick, so Bryson DeChambeau says that if the PGA is going to make it too difficult, he'll just pivot to YouTube if and when Live Golf fails. That might be the best place for him because he's not winning anywhere.
True.
Final thing for me, AR is back today, and they are loaded up on your Thursday. Shefty, a day late today at 12:30. Tim Timmons, former Major League Baseball umpire, is going to be in studio with them at 1. And then it's a Gold Jacket Thursday with former Packer Hall of Famer Jerry Kramer.
Yeah, that's to look forward to, which is very, very nice. We're back tomorrow. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Matty Ice has a large tattoo on his calf of LeBron eating a lion. I have nothing else to say.